James H. Reeve phone in.
There's many a time I've sat in my living room and cried my eyes out because of these tattoos. I've even thought of getting a knife and cutting them off myself.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
So do you think they're going to cost an arm and an egg? These leg and an arm and an egg.
An arm and an egg?
Oh, brilliant!
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
What they don't seem to realise is that respect on the street, it's not respect, it's fear.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I'm entitled to walk in my community safe and live in my own home safe, but they took that away from us.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Right, okay. Sorry, I was just having a bit of trouble with the scenery. That's better. Right. So it needs a bit of WD-40 on it, that. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Last One of the Week. And I think everyone is in a sensible mood this evening because I don't think anyone's just nipped out tonight. So, we might try and insert that happy note of anarchy that we do from time to time. But that will very much depend on whether anybody's got any money on them.
Yeah.
I would think. However, whatever happens on that front, there's plenty more to have a go at this evening, and get off that. And where do we start? Where do you want to start? Well, we've had the results of the inquiry into the bombings in London in July last year. A lack of resources prevented security services from intercepting the bombers on July the 7th. 2 of them were known to security officers, but the threat that they posed was not realised. We've got more details of that coming up later. They said it was understandable that the pair had not been investigated more fully, and there will be no public inquiry, says the Home Secretary, who, if you're finding it difficult to keep track of these things, is John Reed, right? But relatives of the 52 people killed have renewed their calls for a full independent inquiry. Doesn't look as if they're going to get one. What else is happening? Very heartening, this, isn't it? Remember, what was the name, that woman whose daughter died, shall we say?
Pauline Campbell.
Pauline Campbell, yeah, in Style Prison. Another one. Valerie Hayes found hanging in a cell yesterday afternoon. She died in Style Prison days after a report condemned measures at the place to protect vulnerable inmates. She was serving a sentence of 2 years and 3 months after being convicted of arson. And she had been identified as a vulnerable prisoner. Nonetheless, she managed to hang herself. Very interesting. If you look at the comment column in the Manchester Evening News, which has long been, well, it's been part of Manchester's liberal tradition, hasn't it? The Manchester Guardian and the Manchester Evening News. Leaders in the world of laissez-faire entrepreneurial liberalism since the days of Cobden and Bright.
This bit, you mean?
No, that's a different newspaper.
It's not.
Is it not? Anyway, never mind that. You've interrupted me flow now.
Go on then.
God, I was going to go off on one. I was just getting back to the Peterloo massacre then, and I've lost the thread. Yes. Anyway, the majority of people who've expressed an opinion about the death of Valerie Hayes have said, tough. Shouldn't have been in prison in the first place. I know it's not nice in prison. You want to think about that before you, if you can't do the time, if you can't tell the time, don't
do arson.
That's the one. It's a famous old saying, that. But there we are. So, a spokeswoman at the jail said every death in custody is a tragedy and our condolences are with the family and friends of Miss Hayes at this time. However, concern for the welfare of inmates at Style arose after 6 prisoners died within the space of 12 months. Last night, the question was raised of who cares about the victims. Well, some people think too many people care about the perpetrators, but it would appear that whatever level of care there is for the perpetrators, it's not been enough to stop 6 people dying by one means or another in that prison in the space of 12 months, and it's on our doorstep.
We had Pauline in on the show, didn't we, recently?
Did. Yeah. This is, you might... actually, I'm rather pleased about this, because which self-congratulatory git, was it, who said, when we said we were going to talk about the problems with the dental service and whether you could still get with a national health dentist and all the rest of it, somebody was kind enough to send a text message, because that's, that's the gutless git's way of doing it, isn't it? Saying, oh, dentistry, really interesting, put me down for that one. Right. Well, this is today now. Page 3 of the New York Times did an article today on look at these hillbillies from Greater Manchester.
I've got the worst.
Yeah. None of them have got any teeth.
Mm.
Yeah. The article goes to 1.5 million homes across the United States, concentrated on the problems faced by patients at an emergency centre in Rochdale. So there we are. I told you that story.
We're always one step ahead of the game, aren't we?
We certainly are. But then again, too far ahead for a lot of the Hillmans, I think.
Yeah.
I've told this story till I'm blue in the mouth about...
Blue in the mouth?
Yeah. Some colleagues who went to do one of these outside broadcasts, as if it makes any difference, like, from New York. And they went for a pint afterwards.
I bet they did.
To this place like Cheers,
Yeah.
Only it was in like Harlem or somewhere.
Oh no.
Yeah, because when a radio station sends you abroad, they put you up in nothing but the best hotels, don't they? Right.
I wouldn't know, actually.
No. So anyway, they're all sat there, and the bartender says they're all chatting away. And if I named the individuals, you would get it looked like a bit of an audition for Lord of the Rings, actually. Because there's like the little beardy fella and the tall thin one and all this. Just about the most unthreatening crew you've ever seen in your life. So they're talking away, and the barman says, guess you're Australian then. Because they always, if you don't talk like Anthony Hopkins, they think you're Australian. Have you come across that one?
Actually, when I've been to America, they always say, hey, you guys British? And they love it. They absolutely love you. So, no, I've never had that.
Okay, then, anyway. So they said, where are you from? London?
Yeah.
So they said...
I have a friend in Scotland, do you know them?
Yeah?
No.
So they said, I will actually get round to explaining the purpose of tonight's broadcast, but I just thought I'd tell you this story. So they said, no, we're not from London. He said, where are you from then? He said, Manchester. And the bloke went...
Did he?
He cacked himself. Right? And this is like in the Bronx. And he's feeling on the counter for his shotgun.
No.
And he said, I read about that Manchester in Newsweek. It's one bad shit city. And they're going, all right. Yeah?
Well, we're from Hazel Grove, don't you know?
Half of lager, please. Right. What was the other one? Yeah. Oh, yeah, a fella in, this is... look, it's Thursday. It's a nice night. I don't care, really.
Can we take this outside?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that happened to me in the Middle East.
What, someone said, can we take it outside?
No.
Oh,
yeah, well, yeah, that did. But also, this Indian bloke says, he come up to me, he says, he was a cameraman, this bloke. He comes up and he says, I have a friend in England.
Yeah.
I said, I dare say. He said, he lives on Barlowmore Road. He lived about half a mile from me.
No.
Yeah, honestly. So I fetched him a prayer mat back.
Did you know him?
No, I didn't know him, but I knew the road. I knew where he lived. Lived just right on Barlowmore Road. Anyway, a coroner is to write to the government to highlight safety issues arising from mini motorbikes. It follows the death of Jack Turner, who was 13. He was riding a mini motorbike owned by a friend of a relative. This is in Lee. They went round there. His father let him ride this bike round the cul-de-sac and then said, enough. But Jack got back on it, not wearing a helmet, obviously. Went round a corner. You can't see these things. I've seen it happen. I've seen people get knocked off and by car doors opening. Only in this case, it was worse than that. He went round a corner, hit by a car, dead. I mean, I'm in two minds about this, really. Whether the people who do it are have only got themselves to blame. What I certainly do enjoy is seeing kids getting stopped. And I think something awful should happen to them. Because it is. I mean, it's a number of things. It's dangerous to them, it's dangerous to other people, and also it's a bit of gratuitous rule breaking. And you wouldn't suggest that anyone should should die as a result of doing it. But, you know, use some sense. I'm sorry, I've just seen a rather startling text message there, which I don't understand. Right. So, what about these things? You do see kids on them. You see virtually adults on them. And they are dangerous. It's funny when you see somebody come to grief. Not to the extent that Jack Turner did, because he's dead. But something should be done about these. I don't know whether it's possible to make them illegal. I think they should be. This is the good news, though. Fantastic. You know, the cloning of human beings is technically possible, but of course there are a great many ethical considerations surrounding it, aren't there? Well, what about this? There are no ethical considerations surrounding this aspect of cloning. Several people, I'm not sure how many actually, but an appreciable number have invested 800 quid plus £80 a year maintenance in having cells of their pets. Oh yes, you can probably finish this off yourself. Having cells from their pets stored in liquid nitrogen, so that when the dog or the cat or whatever it is dies, it's mostly cats, I understand, and a number of them are from Britain, then they'll make you another one. Isn't that fantastic? What's that going to cost you? The fee is now, so far it's created 6 cats for pet owners whose, their cats have used up the 9. And the fee is now $32,000. So there. After Dolly, you can have Tiddles or Fido or whatever stupid name you've given to your animal. You can have it recreated exactly as it was. And this geezer reckons it's exactly like your previous pet. He said he reckons it will go straight to the previous pet's basket or cushion or whatever, and it will be like it. He says it'll have the same personality. I would hope not, because a cat I know is round the bend, and the last thing we want is another one of those. But that's a fantastic idea, that. Isn't that excellent? Isn't it marvellous what they can do? Right. I mean, why bother cloning people? There's too many of them in the world anyway, and most of them aren't really very nice. A lot of them shouldn't have been here in the first place. But nothing wrong with animals. They can't help it, can they? And what else is there tonight? The Daily Express, amazingly, hasn't got a story, hasn't got a completely made-up and tenuous story about Princess Diana on the front page. It's got a completely different load of rubbish today. Big Brother Satellite will charge you £1.34 a mile and will know when you are speeding. Every motorist in Britain is to be tracked by satellite and charged for each mile driven. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do with this, because the Daily Express is well known for printing stuff which is not true. Okay? What's the date? The 11th of May. There we are. What I'd like you to do, Jackie, is put this in our filing cabinet.
Okay.
Okay. And find out, should we give them a time limit?
I'm wondering if we've got a filing cabinet.
We'll get one.
Shall I keep it at home?
There's that what's it place that does recondition ones over the road, isn't there?
Okay.
Near the roundabout.
Make a note of it, yeah.
War has been declared on the motorists by Douglas Alexander, who apparently is the Transport Secretary at the time of going to press. It doesn't say when this is going to happen, but keep that, because it would be interesting to see whether there is any truth whatsoever in that story.
Lovely.
Thank you. They might actually. Well, isn't it a pity? Isn't it a pity we didn't have that at the time? Because we could then have tracked Princess Diana's car, couldn't we?
I know. Have you seen this in the paper?
Oh, don't put on a sad face then.
Oh, it is sad.
What?
This is the paper. Jade Goody. You don't know if you know who she is, but she was in Big Brother a few years ago.
There's Tim Buck Taylor. Graham Garden, and the one that now does bird watching.
She was in Big Brother, and did she win? No, I don't think she won actually the year she was in. But she came out with really stupid comments.
Yeah,
and
I know. She's a gormless.
Yeah, she's gormless.
Yeah.
She's been in Manchester, and she was signing books, and people. She asked people to write their names on post-it notes, so she could copy their names into the book. Cause she can't. Well, she can't do much, I don't think.
It's interesting you should mention that, because I think last year she earned £2 million.
Oh yeah, most likely, yeah. She's got fitness videos and all sorts out.
She's got what?
Fitness videos.
Yeah, I got hers and the Andy Fordham workout.
Did you?
I got that one, yeah. Yeah. And I'm on the Fern Britton diet.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing alright on that.
Yeah. 0161 288 0103. I think we need more drink, actually. Some drink.
Like
a
tea.
drink.
Yeah.
A nice drink. Thank you.
It's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because it is
some
warm.
iced water.
God, it's so hot in here. I'm going to have to...
Don't undress.
Oh, okay, right. Right, it's 18 minutes past 10, and we've got an anniversary coming up, haven't we, shortly?
Yes, we do, yeah.
Right, we're going to talk to a geezer about an anniversary, which I bet you've forgotten. You'll be saying to yourself, it's never a year. It's never a year, is it? How many years is it since Princess Margaret got married? Oh, it must be 12 years now, easily. Right, that sort of thing. You'll find out what it is in a minute. In the meantime, not that I really think I've given you a place on which to stand, but I don't care, really. It's too hot. I don't want to be in here. Everyone's sat outside the pub, and there must be something else. Couldn't they put me on another shift when the weather's like this?
I think that we could maybe go back to the negotiating table on this one.
I think so, yeah. Anyway, whatever you think, 0161 288 0103. Surprise anniversary coming up next.
There are various ways to get hold of £25,000. You could take out an unsecured loan and combine all your debts into one easy monthly payment. Take sensible advice from Carol Vorderman or someone like that. Or you could listen out for 3 songs in a row and win with a great big fluky phone call. The £25,000 triple play, where you irresponsibly get loads of money without consulting Carol Vorderman.
Manchester's #1 hit music station. Key 103.
The Carling Get a Result Promotion Sing-Along Lesson 2. Angola.
Quando a bola entra no gol, é certo que é Angola.
When the ball hits the net, you can pretty well bet it's Angola.
With Carling's Get a Result promotion, you might want to get ready to cheer on some other teams, because if your result comes in, you could win up to £50.
Full details in participating outlets. Entrance must be over 18, no purchase necessary.
Spot on.
Do you constantly find yourself forgetting things? Are you always tired? Have your friends stopped coming round? If you've said yes to any of these, you may have kids. That's why we've designed the new Peugeot 307 SW with a panoramic glass roof. Yes, it's a family car with up to 7 seats, but it's for all those parents who still think a festival involves mud and music, not a basket of vegetables. Now available with 4 years typical 0% APR with a 20% minimum deposit. For more information, text KIDS to 60222. A new Peugeot 307 SW. Because kids aren't the end of your world. Written quotations on request from Peugeot Financial Services. A guarantee may be required.
Yeah, everybody thinks Carol smiles. She smiles all the time. I don't, and I smiled even less when I had my second child. I remember them saying, complications, you need this emergency blood transfusion. I just really panicked about absolutely everything. Except whether they had enough blood to save me. You just take it for granted it's there, don't you?
It takes 9,000 donors every day to meet the current demand for blood. Do something amazing. Give blood. Call 0845 711 711 or visit blood.co.uk for details.
When TalkTalk first offered unlimited phone calls to everybody else on TalkTalk, the moaning minis thought it would never work. Over 2 million happy customers later, TalkTalk are at it again. But now everyone with the new Talk 3 package gets a super-fast broadband connection free forever. Free broadband forever. From the idiots who bought you unlimited phone calls forever. TalkTalk. Free forever. one-off connection fee, line rental, fair use, minimum contract terms and conditions apply, subject to availability.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Aye. Right, before we do anything else, let us mark this anniversary. It is... Are you sure that... Have you checked this? Yeah. It doesn't seem that at all. It's a year. It is a year since the takeover of Manchester United by Malcolm Glazer was mooted. And a year later, we call upon Sean Bones, who is a vice chair of the Independent Manchester United Supporters Trust, to tell us why all his predictions of doom and catastrophe have not actually come true. Hello, Sean.
Hello, James. How you doing?
All right. I think we just finished 2 or 3 points behind you in the league this season, but, you know, it's a launch pad.
Yeah, you tend to fall like a stone after Christmas. Yeah, you had a good start to the season, and it all seemed to go wrong.
Well, we consolidated. Listen.
That's the word I'm probably going to use as well, consolidated, later on, but carry on.
Well, after all the predictions of collapse of the evil empire of Manchester United, it seems that there's more people than ever in the ground. They've got enough points this season to win the league if it were not for Chelsea. They've got a trophy, and everything's going swimmingly. What's the problem?
Well, you know, we didn't predict doom and catastrophe. I think, to be fair, what we said was that in the first season, that the Glazers the Glazers we thought would have a comfortable first season in terms of, having to pay the debt back. We think that the debt will probably will start biting probably towards the end of the second year. I take on board the comments you've made. I think they're fair comments. We've spoken to our membership. We have a large membership of over 32,000 members. We've spoken to them, from when Glazers have taken over, and asked them how they wanted us to behave, what they wanted us to do. And basically they said, let the Glazers get on with it, and, build for the day when the supporters can one day buy the club, whether it's 3 years, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 100 years. I mean, obviously, we believe that, that the club belongs to the supporters, and obviously, for us to buy the club as supporters, we have to, put a bid together eventually. I mean, we don't think the Glazers are going to be there forever. We can see what they've been doing in the year. Some of the things, they're trying to get the bottom line up. They've cut a reserve team. Some of the highest earners have left, and they're obviously, trying to increase the turnover, and probably one day they will sell it, and as supporters it would be lovely to be in a position to be able to put a bid in.
But, I mean, this thing about supporters owning the club, that's never happened, has it? You go right back to the earliest days of football. The club was owned by someone with a bowler hat and a watch chain on. And those people have manifested themselves over the 120-odd years that the Association Football's been going. The clubs only belong to the supporters in a sort of theoretical way, in a sentimental way. They don't really.
Well, I'd have to disagree with you. I mean, I think that United supporters have built the club up. We've contributed to a development association over the years. We've built the stands. In effect, we've paid for the club, through our ticket prices. And in a way, we're being asked to do that again, and probably even more so because of the huge interest rates. And, I think it's a noble cause for the supporters to want to own the club. I believe in that. And, we're working to that aim, and to be honest, James, we weren't that far away, actually owning the club. Glazers got the club because they were prepared to go to the hedge funds, who were, charging up to 20% interest rates, and, as supporters, we weren't prepared to do that and gamble, the future of the club with these huge debts. And, really, we weren't far away. We had a large global bank on our side, and, they were working with us. We weren't really that far away. So if the Glazers don't succeed and the club needs us to protect it and secure its future, we want to be in a position to do that in the future. And I think it's the right way to work. And obviously the membership at the moment is 32,000. We obviously next year we need to kick on and try and bring it further. And I think it's possible. Honestly, it really is, James. I know what you're saying. I know you're very, very sceptical, but, you know...
it's just that, let's say you did. I mean, you're talking about 32,000 people. You make it sound as if it's going to be some sort of workers' cooperative if you were to take it over, but you'd still need a chief executive, you'd still need a chairman, you'd still need... how would the place be run if 32,000 people own it?
Totally agree with you, and I don't think the supporters want to, run the club in that sense. I think they want to own the club and have it run for their benefit. I mean, if you think about it, United, in a way, are sort of influenced by 4 large American corporations. You've got the Glazers and the Bucks, you've got Nike, who are very influential in what goes on, you've now got AIG, and you've got News Corp, who own Sky Television, Murdoch, and Star Television, and those 4 companies have a large influence on what happens at Manchester United. There's large amounts of money being made. Next year there's going to be 76,000 attending some games. We've got this new sponsorship deal, £56.5 million. These are large amounts of money being generated by the club. We would like those amounts of money to be going to the benefit of the supporters, reduce ticket prices and the best players in the league. And that's what we should be aiming for. And I think you'll notice in the last few weeks that Rangers are setting up a share scheme similar to the one that we set up a few years ago. Arsenal are doing it. A lot of the smaller clubs in the league now are becoming supporter-owned. So it's a great possibility. And as an individual, I feel that supporters contribute all the finances that go into football, directly and indirectly. And I think that it's wrong that supporters have no say or influence in any of the decision-making processes in football. And, obviously we're trying to change that. And, whether we succeed or not, is there to, we're there to be shot at and we're trying. But, I believe that United supporters should own a football club, and that's what we're trying to do. We may not succeed, but we believe we can, and we believe it's possible. And if we don't try and build now, when the opportunity does arise in the future, it'll be our own faults for not being there.
What would be the worst that could happen, do you think?
Well, I think that the closest model that you can relate it to is Leeds United. And they went under with a debt of 100 million. People will say Manchester United isn't the same as Leeds United, but the Glazer debt could be 8 times that great. There's a JP Morgan loan, there's hedge fund loans. The Glazers have said that they've contributed their own money to the club. We are not sure whether that's a loan or it isn't a loan. The interest rates on the debt each season could be over 80 million for the next 5 years, and that's not even paying back the loan. And United's the turnover last year was something like 46 million. Probably the profit would be somewhere between 10 million. So there's a big deficit between the two. And the other thing you have to say is that Manchester United are the number 1 sporting club in the world. They've been run, as well as any other club. So whether you can improve the revenues that come into it 6 or 7 times over, I don't think it's possible. So if there is going to be a problem, it'll probably happen in the next few years. We expected the first year for them to be reasonably smooth. We think it's been maybe a little bit uncomfortable for them. But the 2 high points for the Glazers will have been winning the League Cup and, the new sponsorship deal. But the supporters have said to us, look, we love the football club. Let's wait and see what the Glazers have to offer. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, as a trust, we don't want you to bother with what the Glazers do. We want you to build, aside from that if the Glazers do fail, that, we'll have a chance of the supporters owning the club.
Okay, then what about FC United? That was I don't think anyone seriously suspected they would overthrow the parent plant. But what do you think about what they've done?
Well, I think that one of the fantastic things about FC United is that they've allowed children to go back to football and to a game where there's atmosphere. I think that what happened when the Glazers took over, there was an enormous rage, and every United supporter had different feelings about what they were going to do. Some were going to, the vast majority were going to continue to go to Old Trafford. Some people couldn't go because Glazer was in charge. Everyone had a dilemma, and if you speak to different United supporters, everyone has a different opinion. And as a person, I respect each individual opinion. The thing about FC United is that there's children going to football again, and they're going to a game where there's a lot of atmosphere. One of the things that I think is tremendous about FC United is that, like for next year, I mean, this year I think it was children's prices were £2, adults' prices were £7. Next year I think they're doing a season ticket for children that equates to £1 a game to get in, and you know. I've been to a few games, and I just love to see lots of school kids there enjoying themselves, cheering on. It reminds me of when I was a child, you know, standing behind the goal in the Stretford End. You know, it was the greatest thrill ever, and unfortunately, because of the prices at Manchester United now, and all Premiership clubs, you know, a dad can't take his two sons or his 3 sons to enjoy a football match. That's part of our tradition and culture. And you get, I mean, one thing about the Glazers at the moment is they have a tremendous spin machine, and you know, as supporters, we're trying to work against that spin machine, and you know, you get various bits of information. One of the bits of information was that United had the 7th cheapest ticket prices in the league. Well, if you look at it closer, we've got one ticket at £23. Now that ticket is only 5% of the tickets available at Old Trafford. If you take the average ticket price at Old Trafford, we're probably the dearest tickets outside London. And what kind of is upsetting is when the Hillsborough disaster happened, Lord Justice Taylor did a report, and he basically said that traditional supporters who stand shouldn't be penalised because the grounds are becoming all-seater. And he said that ticket prices seats should be fixed at £6. And if you take the natural rate of inflation, but if you take the natural rate of inflation from that date now, the tickets should be £11. And if you want to go to watch Real Madrid, you can get in for £11.60. If you want to watch Juventus, you can get in for £11.80. So that just gives you an idea of how the game is being taken away from the ordinary supporter. I mean, I can't afford to, you know, I'm an ordinary factory worker who makes gas meters. I'm struggling to be able to afford to go to games, and it's a shame. And obviously, if supporters own the clubs, they could gradually reduce that trend.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. At what point would you concede that the Glazers might have known what they were doing after all? What point would? Well, obviously, if they can pay the debts back, you know, the debts that they own, and make it work. But unfortunately, the profile of the supporters being changed. You know, for a Manchester United supporter from the 70s, 60s and 70s, you go to your home games, you go to your away games. Now, with the way that the prices, I mean, the greatest business plan is to push the prices up 10% a season for the next 5 seasons. But they've actually pushed this year's up 12.5%. So they could actually say next year, they could drop it to 7.5% and say that they've listened to supporters and reduced it, when in actual fact, they've top-loaded the first year. But before I go, Jim, one thing I would like to do is mention a George Best birthday party we're having on the 20th of May. It's called 60 of the Best, and it's going to be at Sam Platt's. And it's going to be a fantastic evening. Tickets are £25. Paddy Crown's going to be there, Sammy McElroy, Mike Summerby, the Best family are coming over for it. Pete Boyle's going to be there, Crack Flag. Don Farden, who sung the original song, the Belfast Boy, is coming back to sing it live. And Indian Reservation. Yeah, maybe we could get him to sing that as well. If anybody wants a ticket... That seemed a little out of place, but anyway, go on. Yeah, if anyone wants a ticket, you can get it from Red Star Sports on the front of Sir Matt Busby Way, Sam Platt's Pub. The number that you can ring, if anybody's got a pen, it's 0161 244 5244. And I'll give you that number again, 0161 244 5244. And it'll be an absolutely brilliant night. If you can go. Very media savvy, Mr. Bones, if you don't mind me saying so. That number once again. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we want it to be a big success, and the money that's raised will go to the George Best Foundation, and it's a worthy cause, and it'd be a proper United supporters evening. It'll be fantastic. So if you can go, there aren't that many tickets left. There's 500 tickets available. They're going very quickly. You know, please make an effort to pop down if you can. Right, you are. I'm sorry. Jackie wanted me to do something, and she doesn't know any of the... You work in a factory? I work in a factory making gas meters, James. You know in factories where they have overhead cranes? Yeah. Yeah, there's an agreed system of signals, isn't there, to the driver? We've never agreed any, though, have we? So that there is no ambiguity.
Well, usually what the lads where we work when that happens say, get out of the effing way.
Yeah, well,
usually.
Yes, I know, but if the place is noisy, they have the health and safety put these things up, and there are a number of signals which indicate, stop, lift, forward, all this sort of thing, so that there can be no possible misunderstanding in these dangerous and trying circumstances. Right? Whereas Jackie behaved, her hands are like two mating butterflies, and she was just then doing an impression of appeared to be someone dowsing for water.
She told him to wrap it, was she? Said, hurry up.
No, I was saying, ask him if we can have some tickets.
Well, what we'll probably do is put 2 tickets up for, maybe ask a question. Ask a question to, and whoever went to two of the listeners, yeah.
Brilliant.
But if you want to come down, if Jackie wants to come down, then we'll, send us an email and...
Oh, just Jackie then?
Well, I guess Mike Summerby's coming. Well, we'd have to negotiate that one, Jim.
All right. I knew Bestie very well, actually.
Oh, good stuff.
Spent a few evenings with him. I couldn't keep up, obviously, but there you go.
Right.
All right.
Tremendous chat,
we'll see. We'll have you back in 12 months and see whether things have changed then.
Okay,
is it 12 months since he first emerged on the scene?
It's 12 months since the Irish sold to him. And that was the point where he got his 51% stake and literally became in charge of the club.
Okay. Do you never hear anything about those two now, do you?
Which two?
The Mr. McManus and Mr. Magma.
We've not heard too much. They're obviously, messing around with the horses and that. They're big in racing, and no, we've not heard too much. But we've heard the chap at Celtic, Dermot Desmond. He's said a few things. I personally, as an individual, don't care for them particularly because of what happened. But they've acted legally. They've bought a business and they've sold it for more than they bought it for. But I particularly don't care for them very much. But that's me as an individual.
All right, Sean. Well, they speak very highly of you.
I believe they do.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, mate. It's very kind of you to offer us a couple of tickets, obviously under tremendous pressure from Jackie, and I think that will be our first prize that we've managed to secure, won't it? Anyway, we'll look into it. Sean Bones, who is one of the vice chairs of the Independent Manchester United Supporters Trust, as you'll have gathered on the anniversary of Manchester United becoming Malcolm Glazer's franchise, although it's only his in the sense that your house is yours, overlooking for the moment that in actual fact it belongs lock, stock and barrel to the Halifax Building Society. It's that kind of arrangement. Right, that was Sean. Text message here said, I don't know what this means. He has a speaky voice. Oh, there we are. Right. They're the best kind to have, aren't they? 0161 288 0103, just to remind you of our purpose here this evening. You know what, Thursday night tends to be rather laissez-faire. It tends to be a little comme ci comme ça. It tends to be a little ça ne fait rien. It tends to be a little je ne sais quoi. It tends to be a little sauve qui peut. It tends to be a little Goethe Dämmerung, and that. So we'll see how we go on. The phone's still there. The emails are here. The emails again is just laying waste to rainforests all around the world. But the number's 0161 288 0103. I'll canter through the topics for this evening if you want. But then again, of course, instead of sitting there going with your little finger, just trying to get that extra little bit of bogey that always just gets round the corner, going, that's not very interesting, that. Then, you see, the thing is, you can always suggest something interesting, couldn't you? If something has seized your imagination. I know it would be a slippery thing to do, but you never know, it might have done. And that's what we're here for. I don't mean in the greater scheme of things, I don't mean that is what we are here for. That's a different matter. But that's what we're here for as regards this. Okay. Should we just should we crack on there's a fire?
Yeah.
Put the emergency thing on.
Yeah.
Suit me that. Right. Anyway, I mustn't let my infectious enthusiasm go over the top. We'll talk to Hillman in a minute.
Key 103.
Come on, own up. Who did it? You know, it's just not acceptable. We're all cooped up in here with only a wisp of fresh air during Friday's draw. Was it that French ball again?
Why is it always my fault? We're all bouncing off the walls in here. The smell is très terrible.
Nico, don't blame the French ball. I got a little nervous as the jackpot was so big. I confess it was me.
This Friday's Euro Millions jackpot is a huge £17 million. Games, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 16 or over. Jackpot amount is an estimate.
Oh, pardon me.
From this week, please do not be alarmed if your computer makes the following sound.
You're gonna be okay, do you understand me? But you have to sit absolutely still.
If you missed the start of the new series of Lost, it's now available to watch online at channel4.com/Lost and on demand through NTL, Telewest and Home Choice. If it continues to make a strange noise after playing Lost, your computer's rubbish.
Baa, black sheep, have you any wool? Because man-made fabrics don't have the texture this coat needs. And I'm sorry, I'm not cutting corners on this one.
You never know what your child will grow up to be. But with 3 different types of child trust fund account available, you can choose the one that suits you best.
This is for my land, for goodness sake.
Child Trust Fund. What will yours grow into? For more help choosing the right account for your child, visit ctfhelp.com.
Fancy a life of high fashion, charity dues and sexy cars? Now's your chance. The new Nissan Micra C+C and Fashion Targets Breast Cancer invite you to a fashion show hosted by the beautiful Jenny Frost. Save a life by the catwalk this Saturday at Trafford Centre, Manchester between 11 and 4. Glimpse the latest collections, mingle with the beautiful people and maybe even win a one-off gold Micra C+C, the season's hottest accessory. Visit nissan-micracc.co.uk for more information. Shift City Live, no purchase necessary.
The Carling Get a Result Promotion Sing-Along Lesson 3, Japan. There's only one Nakamura. There's only one Nakamura.
With Carling's Get a Result promotion, you might want to get ready to cheer on some other teams, because if your result comes in, you could win up to £50.
Full details in participating outlets. Entrance must be over 18, no purchase necessary. Spot on.
Key 103 are bringing Snow Patrol to Manchester. Tickets go on sale this Friday, so don't miss out. Call the Key 103 ticket line on 08701 223 103 or book online at allow.com. Snow Patrol, live at the MEN Arena on Wednesday the 29th of November, only with Manchester's official concert station, Key 103. The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
It's time to go over to the email desk.
An early one from Moira.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, go on.
You know, before, when you wanted me to put your microphone on, you see what I did there? I put it in Hillman speak there. I didn't say, open your mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of people do that, don't they? Yeah, somebody said on the radio the other afternoon. And we've just had a snap on the wires. Said that on the wireless.
Dear.
Yeah. We've just had a snap on the wires.
People won't understand that.
No.
We do, being professionals.
Of course we do. Yeah. But you see, it's like when a builder comes round and goes, well, you see, your purlins have gone, and once they go, you soffit. That's the next thing. And you go, oh.
It sounds expensive.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's the point. So,
can I do these now?
Yeah, yeah, no, I wonder why you made all those peculiar sort of...
That means...
It looks as if you're doing a little bit of Pilates.
Oh, no, that's not... Pilates?
Pilates, yeah.
You've never been to Pilates. Don't know what it looks like.
I did, I went there for a fortnight. When, you could have gone like that.
I did!
No, you didn't. You were going...
Yeah, but then I did that as well.
Oh, yeah, eventually, after all these mystifying... I thought you were trying to put a spell on me. Anyway, go on.
Moira in Ancoats has sent this one to Debbie and it's come through a bit late. Could I ask if James H. Reeve actually takes his wig off while he's live on air?
Look, this is ridiculous. This is 100%, for reasons, I do not know, it might be something to do with something passed down on your mother's side, but this is a magnificent head of mine own luxury hair. Not luxury. That makes it sound as if it was expensive. No, luxuriant. Her.
If he does leave his wig on its own, before you go home tonight, would it be possible to take it in a sauce of milk? Condensed if possible. Many thanks, Moira.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, this just won't, you know.
Hello, James, says John in Salford. With the next Ashes series on the distant horizon, can I warn you that there may be an Aussie spy working there at Q103, a viper in James H. Reeve's bosom, so to speak? Is Michelle Ponting any relation to Ricky Ponting?
My God.
She might be an undercover agent.
She's a spy.
Watch her, James. Watch her closely. We will now.
Was that you saying, or?
That was, John.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Following several mentions on your show, been looking into this Karita lady. Wow, I say wow, she's a real stunner. Can we have a picture of her on the website? I mean, she's hot. Yeah. Paul in Bradbury.
I've forgotten all about, Karita. I have seen that film, The Viking Queen. It's a rubbish film. Somehow it's got Romans and Vikings in it, and I think a few, Moors. I think they're in it as well. I think there's a few Saracens in it. It's complete, absolute, garbled rubbish. Except that there's a few Norks in it.
Linda and Lee, if you're a sort of Q103 Alan Sugar and Jackie's your apprentice, don't you think she should have her own show by now? Yes! Since she joined Q103, your listening figures have doubled, I believe. Credit where credit's due. Give us more Jackie, she's wonderful. Aw, thanks, Linda.
Do you want to start now? Because I've had enough of this.
Paul in Oldham, I couldn't help but notice a rather kinky element creeping into your show last night. The very idea of you even thinking about doing Miss Marple, well, bilious isn't the word. James, you old smoothie you, I was just wondering, could I ask what might be a personal question? The thing is, I've been on the lookout for a possible sugar granddaddy, and you sound about the right age group.
Right, I've had enough. This is all crap, this.
This might be genuine.
I will not tolerate any more of this.
Listen to the rest of it. Good prospects, etc. Would you be interested? Say 4 nights a week. I'll be gentle with you at first.
Well, you know what they say.
What?
About the bloke whose missus went to the doctor.
Go on.
And she came back. He said, "What did he say?" She said, "He told me that I must have sex at least 4 times a week." He said, "Well, put me down for 2." Thank you. Mike Kelly's that.
Hi, Jackie. Could you get close up and personal with James and check something out for me? Has he got hairy ears? If so, do you think he might be wearing earwigs?
Well, that's rubbish, that.
That is rubbish.
Yeah. Come on, hurry up, keep them coming.
Hi, James.
We'll have to get some...
Don't interrupt me
some
then!
fast-moving background music to this, with a bit of Morse code in it.
God. The great Pele's in Manchester next week for a book signing. How come some bookshops can bring Pele all the way from Brazil, but you can't get Desperate Dan from just up the road? High time you let Jackie do the organising. Put your feet up, old-timer.
We're looking into it. We need sponsorship.
Yeah.
We're thinking of getting, somebody who does anybody actually make cow pies? We could get Trey Bentos to sponsor it, couldn't we, or something like that?
Good one, right. Yeah. That's it for now.
Lee in Wigan, are you as fed up with this as I am?
Hello?
Hello there.
Hiya. I just want to talk about the World Cup.
Do you?
Yeah.
Off you go then.
1 sec.
Oh, God's truth. No, I'm not putting up with that.
Might be singing a song or something.
That barn pot. Oh, this is rubbish. Right. I think do you know what I think we should do? Thursday night should be like,
go home early night.
Yeah, you know, like...
Not do the show night.
Like Wednesday afternoons used to be, and, you know, market day, they used to close early, didn't they, on a Wednesday afternoon?
What could we call it? No,
nothing doesn't matter, we could call it being absent. Yeah. Right, go and get some more emails. I'm sick of this, I don't know. Should we play the what's it? Timothy Suffolk in Eccles says, "What is the bright star not far from the moon?" I don't know, do I? Can't. Stupid. Oh, it's pathetic. Albert Hall, though, says, James, isn't it great? You kill someone in a hit-and-run accident, hide out for 3 days, and try and get your mates to lie for you, and you get a suspended sentence. Be an animal rights activist, and you get 12 years. Yes, we've had the odd mention somewhere in all this stuff of the sentences handed out to the animal rights protesters. I'll find out what the latest is there. And it did occur to me to ask if this rang a bell with anybody, if anybody felt that the animal rights protesters were justified in protecting the rights of creatures which cannot really speak for themselves, or, irrespective of Dr. Doolittle, let's all pretend that, or indeed defend themselves. And then I thought, well, since most people don't care about the major problems facing our species until it comes down to a lolly stick, then I thought I very much doubted whether anyone would be operating on that level, to be perfectly frank. So, I don't know. Referring to the conversation that I was having with that Debbie Mack before, red wine helps your heart, but white wine stops you going deaf. Okay, but either way, you're going to drink lots of wine. Fantastic, yeah. And the great thing is, if you drink enough, you can hear your heart beating. So you're covered both ways there. Brilliant. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh. So, just when I was saying we needed to raise the tone, to elevate the level of debate into something which is actually matters in this world, along comes Malcolm in Wigan.
Hello.
Malcolm.
How are you? How's your health?
On this occasion, I don't object to your asking me, because I'll tell you. You know, it's normally a big mistake to ask anybody how they are, don't you?
Well, I mean, I know that you've had a gallbladder operation, so I was just wondering how you're feeling.
Well, that was in January.
Yeah, but I mean, it takes time to recover from these things.
Well, yeah, it does, about 48 hours.
Well, that's not what you said at the time, but there again, media people do tend to say slightly different things at different times.
Well, I was laying it on a bit thick because so the boss would look kindly on me. You know
You're
what I mean?
looking for the sympathy vote.
I was cringing a bit. Yeah, I kept walking around the office going, oh, and just stopping for it. You know, oh, just hesitating.
But, I mean, isn't it good the fact? Did you go? Excuse me asking it. What I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. But was it an NHS hospital?
Of course it was.
Isn't that good though that you were able to get that treatment in an NHS hospital when you needed it?
Yeah.
And isn't it bad the way that these people, these new Labour hacks who came in on a promise of 24 hours to save the NHS are now sacking people or trying to sack people at the same time as the skids are under their backsides?
Well, the problem with the National Health Service is because of its size and the number of people it employs and the amount of money it turns over and everything, most people really do not know what to believe.
Well, we know that an attempt was made to try to close down the maternity hospital at Hope Hospital, and that Hazel Blears, who's been pontificating on Question Time today, saying everything was rosy. What we do know is that she failed to appear at that rally, and that Ian Stewart, who did appear, the MP for Eccles, signed a petition saying he wanted Trident to be scrapped. Okay, but go on anyway, proceed.
Yeah, you've done all this. But what most people have got anecdotal things, that's all. Now, they're talking about closing the special care baby unit at Fairfield Hospital, I believe, as well.
I think that's off on that.
Have they?
Yeah.
Okay, but
good news, that.
It was mooted. But I do know this. Somebody I know was due... How's this? Somebody was due to go in, I think it was last Thursday or Friday, was due to go in hospital for to have I don't know, something out, the spleen out or something like that.
Yeah.
Not a particularly big deal, but they'd made arrangements, they'd booked time off work, they'd arranged for the partners to have time off work to bring them home from hospital with the anaesthetic and all the rest of it. All this, they'd done all this, and they got a phone call the day before. the day before saying your appointment's been cancelled.
Yeah. Well, you can understand that, and you can understand that it's particularly irking to people when they've heard all this sloganising from Labour over the years about how they care for the National Health Service, and then it suddenly turns out that they're spending a lot more money on, for example, funding the Iraq War and the Afghanistan campaign.
Malcolm, you've told us the majority of this in one form or another several times, and I've said before that it's observable that there is always money for wars.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But not necessarily in the future, though, because there's new policies are emerging. I mean, I'm glad that, for example, today I've read that David Cameron, I picked this up in the Metro, he's supporting the idea of the so-called Small Arms Treaty, which is an effort to stop small arms being sold to third world countries.
Oh, good luck to him.
And he's doing quite well, isn't he? And I noticed Miss Blair's, I just turned it on for about 5 minutes, the question time. She's wearing green. Isn't that amazing? And another bit of good news I've picked up is from a friend of mine. He came out from Salford today.
Excuse me, what was the relevance of that?
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is that I would argue that the new Labour hacks are frightened rabbits now, and they're trying
What's that going to do with Hazel Blair's wearing a green
Well, she's trying
frock?
to show green is the new colour, blue is the new green, so they're all becoming green. You'll hear a lot of green talk from all the politicians now.
Do you know what I think, Mark? I think I've got a horrible feeling, deep down, that was meant to be a joke, wasn't it?
Well, deep down, I could tell you some far better jokes, but that might have to come after the news. I'm quite good on jokes. But,
I hope you won't still be talking after news, because it's not till 1 o'clock.
Oh right, are you not having the 11 o'clock?
No, nice of you to keep on top of. Things.
Oh well, I don't.
It means we can cram in more stimulating, fast-moving radio discussion.
Yeah. Well, another thing I've picked up is that Tesco, a guy came out to me from Salford, one of my old buddies. I've known him for a long time, and I go to Salford quite often, as you might imagine. And he told me that
why might I imagine that?
Well, because of the fact that I know one or two things about Salford, and that's why I'm in favour of keeping that maternity hospital open.
Oh, right, okay.
Because in fact, two of my children were born there. In fact, one of my other half was born there. One of my relatives worked there as an NHS doctor for a long time. I know a lot of the people at Hope Hospital.
I'll tell you who else was born there.
A lot of famous people.
Somebody nobody ever guesses.
I wouldn't know. Go on.
John Motson.
Well, at that rally, that, as I say, Miss Blaze didn't attend, there was a mention of a lot of people who were born at Hope Hospital, and that's what's wrong about it, you see, the fact that a city of Salford, it is the third biggest city in the northwest after Liverpool and Manchester. They could even consider effectively stopping people being born in a city. Isn't that incredible?
Look, well, it sounds to me like a brilliant idea. When I look round this place, I can see loads of people who I wish they'd not allowed them to be born. Most of them are just a waste of space and valuable diminishing resources.
Well, I mean...
Anyway, listen.
I'm not in favour of abortion, so I don't take your views on that.
I think it should be backdated.
Yes, well, that's an opinion.
I think we should have death squads. I think all decent people...
Yeah.
You should be assessed by a panel.
All right.
And I obviously...
I get your idea. I think you're getting into some of the Blairite ideas about...
absolutely. I'm thinking
introducing... did you know I picked another one up that apparently under Section 8 of a...
You've not let me finish. I'm revealing my new policy here.
Your new policy is death by firing squad, is it?
No, not by firing squad. We're going to invent a death ray.
All right.
Yeah. We're just looking into that at the moment. I'm going to nip into the engineers and have a word with them, and it's time to get started on it. we'll probably get a digital one, won't we, these days?
Yeah, I suppose you could, possibly, but I mean...
Right, but what would happen? Anyone...
being a scientist.
Any decent person, and obviously you would have to go through an elaborate... Well, not elaborate, no. It would be cheap to administer and very straightforward.
Right.
Anyone who's like a decent sort would be given one of these devices.
Right.
And more or less... I'm not saying you could use them indiscriminately.
Oh, you're not into weapons of mass destruction?
Well, no, this would be very, very selective.
Oh, I see, right.
Only dead legs and mouth breathers would be legitimate targets.
Oh my God, he's really... You've got to be wary of what you're saying. You could be caught under one of these new laws that have been invented about inciting terrorism and whatever.
No, this is...
No, this is just fantastical. This is science fiction.
Science fusion?
Science fiction.
Oh, right, okay.
No, nuclear fusion, that's something I know something about.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, fission. So what would happen... The people who were selected...
Right.
Would have one of these devices.
Right.
And you couldn't, like, just eliminate someone willy-nilly.
All right, yeah.
So obviously, you've got to have some safeguards. But if anyone attempted to refuse to allow you to pass without let or hindrance, if anyone got on your nerves, or if anyone, pulled a big chunk out of your hedge that you just cut, that's like sticking out, or pushed a crisp packet into it, then you could just vaporise them.
Oh, right. Oh, very, very kind. Very kind method, I mean, it's... anyway.
It might be painless. Ideally not.
So what do you think about the decision of... I'm welcoming the decision of Lord Goldsmith to call for the closure of Guantanamo. I mean, what's good about it is that only a few weeks ago, John Reeve was saying that the British government shouldn't do it because it would be telling the Americans what to do. So it's obviously a split there again. But there again, the Attorney General's in the House of Lords, so he doesn't really have to bother too much about what these Scottish war criminals, whatever you want to call them, are saying, because he's in the House of Lords. Can't really be sacked.
Didn't understand a word of this, but I noticed, Malcolm, you've taken another tack now since proof positive was produced that the other thing which used to introduce interest. Oh, what's the matter with me? I'm talking like Roger's Thesaurus tonight. I'm talking like John Prescott, actually.
Yeah, you are. What's two? Is it two jacks or two ags?
Oh, you covered up that very well. That was brilliant.
You got that one, did you?
You are Wiggins answer to Joe Pasquale, eh?
No, it's rare. It's rare you'll hear that kind of joke from me because I prefer. I heard it on the bus recently. It's passing around on the buses.
Okay, listen.
He's become a laughing stock, hasn't he?
Joe Pasquale, not.
No,
I can't see anything to laugh at.
Prescott's a laughing stock.
Anyway, I noticed that these have become your hobby horses now since the emergence of proof positive that your theory about the collapse of the Twin Towers is complete moonshine.
Absolute garbage.
The American Institute of Architects, who I'm sure you will insist are under the direct control of George W. Bush or Condoleezza or Rumsfeld or the head of the CIA, whoever he is, if it isn't the one who's just resigned for being a paedophile or whatever he turned out to be.
The mathematics, I'm chatting with my advisor he's an author of a book and he's a barrister, and we were, oddly enough, only a few days ago we were talking about that December the 9th meeting that I addressed, and Dr. Paula Koji, the head of law at the Manchester Metropolitan University.
Yeah.
There's no movement in our minds as far as.
I'm absolutely.
We're mathematicians and physics and barristers and. There's no movement.
A barrister. Well, most barristers spend half their lives building skyscrapers, don't they?
No,
I'm sorry, that would explain the whole thing. They employed an architect to build it. What the hell were they thinking of?
No.
Why didn't they get a barrister?
No, what I'm explaining to you is that we're assessing the evidence. We're assessing the evidence from a scientific and legal basis. We did not build it, obviously.
Right, okay, right. I'm going to find it. I am going to find it, right?
You're not going to...
I am going to find it, and what I'm going to do is... do you still believe that the Twin Towers came down because of a controlled explosion? Do you think it was done by the council?
That is correct.
Or do you think that it's only a pity that the CIA can't interview Fred Dibner?
What I think is that there should be... I'm supporting the call of the 9/11 Truth Movement for a full judicial independent investigation, as opposed to the congressional investigation where a number of the people who sat on it were directly connected with the White House.
Well, I bet George W. Bush has just shattered his pants because he'll be going, oh no,
well, he's got other reasons
in Wigan he's decided it was nuclear. He's going to hold an inquirization.
No, I mean, there's a lot of people out there, including in America now, who believe there's a problem with it. But there again, there's a lot of people who believe there was a problem with the invasion of Iraq and the fact that Iraq...
Of course there was. God blimey! What do you want a Nobel Prize for investigative journalism for working that one out? I've been saying that for the minute it was broached. There's me and Charles Kennedy. We've got two things in common. We like a drink,
both drink,
and also, we weren't kidded for a bloody minute.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So the point is, where are we going from now? Are we having the troops out quick, slow, or are we having them out in one piece or two?
It doesn't matter. All that is in the realm of human consideration.
What do you think about the five people who died at the weekend and the first woman officer who died? What's your opinion on that?
What do you mean, what's my opinion on it? It's a shame when anybody dies, and that's the end of that.
It was the first woman officer for 20 years to die in a conflict.
Well, that's what you get if women will insist on going out to work.
That's a very trite answer.
Of course it is. That's the light and shade. This is never letting you know what's going to happen next. But there's no point in us discussing the invasion of Iraq because we are both agreed on the subject that it was a put-up job. Right. However, this is not to digress from the points which I have made and you cannot understand, is that your theory about the Twin Towers is bordering on the lunatic.
Absolute garbage.
Well, I think we'll have to agree to differ on that one. That was Malcolm in Wigan going over some, it was sort of a new listeners catch-up here. Previously on James H. Reeve on Key 103. It's 11:10. We're off to press switch next. What's he talking about? Okay, whatever.
We asked 100 people in New York what they thought of Key 103's Toolin' in the Morning.
Mike, sorry, what? Tooley? No, I don't know that name. No, does he live here in New York?
Toolin' in the Morning. Back tomorrow from 6 on Manchester's Key 103. Because the Manchester bit's important. Manchester Arndale is bringing together 3 of the hottest pop acts in the UK to celebrate its £150 million redevelopment. Girls Aloud, Lamar, and G4, performing live and exclusive by invitation only on the 11th of May, with Key 103's Big G hosting the event. If you haven't got a ticket, Key 103 have got their hands on 5 VIP pairs to give away. Log on to key103.co.uk or get yourself down to Manchester Arndale and register via the touchscreens for chances to win.
£100, granted for your own mobile phone and a free Sony Ericsson when you join one of our new pay monthly packages during the month of May, exclusively in your local Orange shop.
Sounds good.
when things come together, doesn't it? So for £100 credit for your old phone and a free Sony Ericsson W800i, visit your local Orange shop this weekend. Offer subject to availability and ends 31st of May 2006. Minimum spend £25 a month on a 12-month contract. Terms apply.
We could tell you it's all about craft, tradition, and heritage. But we know you'll only notice one thing. The taste. Magnus Irish Cider. Time dedicated to you.
Dave and everybody else has come down there, so it's a complete nightmare. There's about a metre of powder on the way down. Been setting off avalanches the whole way. No move for at least 48 hours. Over. Is that so far down on? Anywhere, mate, anywhere.
That was the British Army team who are attempting to climb Everest via the notorious West Ridge. To follow in their footsteps, text Everest to 84118. The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Do you know, it just goes to show, there's Malcolm there we were talking to before, and it is nice to feel that we've assembled, I like to think of us as a family, that we've got all these experts in any field. I mean, my knowledge is massive, towering enough, but also we've got a lot of sort of subsidiary people who can help with this, that and the other. So when somebody sent us a text saying, what is that bright star not far from the moon? Oh, that would be Timothy Suffolk in Eccles. We get the following replies. That's from Anony Mouse. Oh, the star just east of the moon is actually Jupiter. I thank you. Well, that's great. Whoops-a-daisy. An email arrives at precisely the same time saying, tell that Burke Timothy it's not a star, it's Mars. Okay then. And nowhere near the moon, the stupid Dritzek. And that's from Dickhead, and it is from him because he enclosed his PIN number. Okay. Jack in Stockport. So if white wine is good for the ears and red wine good for the heart, what's rosé wine good for? It's good for nothing, mate. Frankly. Ian in Prestwich, you're on the wireless. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
I did have an issue with something you said earlier, but before I go any further, I've got to say that, have you got a neon light across your forehead that says, I attract space cadets?
It appears I may have, yes.
Well...
but only in their eyes. Only they can see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Only their superpowers can detect it.
Well, you must have some sort of battery in your body that attracts them.
That's very nice, thank you.
The issue that...
Present company accepted?
Oh, of course.
Ah,
of course.
Now then. You see, the trouble is they think that as well. They think they think everybody else is mad. That's always the last thing they shout as they hurl them into the back of the van. You know that?
Right. It's going to be, I would say, from my end of the stick, a short and very sharp question. How the hell, for animal rights? Now, I love animals, and I also know that my father has Parkinson's disease, which comes from babies' brains, and there's issues about that.
It comes from what? From babies' brains?
Babies' brains, yes. Some of the medication that Parkinson's promotes. Now, I can live with people.
Whoa! Just take me through that again, Ian. Just.
My dad.
Yeah.
Has heart trouble, and he's got Parkinson's disease.
Right.
Which he's too old to die from the Parkinson's disease. The medication he's on.
Yes.
He's a very up to a point with them in the know. Obviously not as good as the animals.
Yeah.
But a lot of the, I don't know too much about the wheres and wherefores. I am not a doctor. But,
okay. You're not, honestly?
No, honestly.
Okay.
But the bit that shuts down to make Parkinson's disease a problem is the brain. Now, apparently from brain cells that they get from unborn fetuses in hospitals, they make into a medication that then treats Parkinson's disease.
Right. You're talking about a bit of stem cell jiggery-pokery now, aren't you? Yes, that's right, yeah. Because a baby's head is a type of suet pudding.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it also helps people with Parkinson's, which I'm quite passionate on because my dad's got it.
Okay.
But then when you, the bit that's lit me up tonight, is the bit that says animal rights this, animal rights that. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am not really
a doctor. You've already told us that.
I like animals, but I also think human beings are more important. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, I live on a farm. I see magpies pecking sheep. It's not even born. You know, a little lamb. He's not even born.
Yeah.
And I see magpies pecking their eyes out before they've even popped out, if you know what I mean.
I understand that they are considered something of a delicacy.
Yes.
And it's also true, I believe, that magpies and crows
are vermin.
And are a bigger danger to...
And need shooting, in my opinion. But that's only my...
Right.
But that's only my opinion.
But they cause more damage... Just a minute. They cause more damage to young sheep than foxes do.
And that's another issue.
Statistically.
Hey, we could be here all night. But the thing you said, which lit me up, was about the animal rights this and the animal rights that. And the thing that lit me up was, how can this modern world justify taking a body out of a grave and having it away? I cannot see any mortal person in a modern world doing such things. How can that be justified by anybody?
Well,
let alone animal rights activists, let alone terrorists, let alone... I mean, for Christ's sake, who the hell robs a grave? That can't be for the good of anybody.
Well, it doesn't bother me particularly because you just... if you rob a grave, you're just nicking a load of gear that nobody's got any use for anymore, but obviously...
Would you like your mother nicked out of a grave?
I hadn't really thought about that, really. I don't think it'd bother me one way or another, to be honest with you, but then again, I didn't like her very much, so it might be a different thing.
However, do you like your dad?
Well, if they pinched him, he'd just blow away. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. However,
you're funny.
Oh, I'm funny. Anyway, listen. I sometimes wonder. I mean, we all have things that we believe in, and some of us feel that we are prepared to make sacrifices or even run certain risks to in pursuit of those ideals. But the trouble is, when you look at most of these animal rights protesters, you get the feeling that really they need something to do with the time.
And also, they do it under the cover of darkness. They're cowards.
Well, yeah, if you're going to steal a body, that's the best time to do it, really, to be honest.
But you don't think if you're going to sort of threaten people, you do it where, yes, I'm doing it because of whatever reason, then do it. Okay, you get half a chance of having some respect for him, but to do anything of that ilk in the cover of darkness and then leave it, and then say it's for whatever reason, grave robbing, you cannot justify that by any means, any way, anyhow.
Isn't it because her family owned a laboratory that bred hamsters, which... Guinea pigs, was it?
Guinea pigs.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Guinea pigs, yeah.
Didn't mean to say hamsters. I don't know why hamsters keep... we were talking about...
Time Try and keep up.
Oh, right, thanks very much. Okay.
You're welcome. Don't take.
Yeah, no. Right.
No, but...
No, get off. There we are. That was Ian in Press Switch. Look, I do really feel... The thing is, though, you feel strongly about things, but I really want... it's like, the arguments have been gone over so many times, but in the light of today's events, why not? The thing is, certainly, we do need... All right, animals for testing cosmetics and all this sort of thing, and fags, then, no, probably not. There are better things to do it. But when it can make a difference, yeah, get them. I was once speaking to someone whom I had not known for very long, someone of recent acquaintance, who was applying, in customary fashion, plenty of slap. Women. Women must be the only creatures that pluck their eyebrows and then draw them back in.
No, that's rubbish.
Oh, okay. What other creatures do it?
You can shape them, and then you can define them with a pencil.
What other creatures do it, though?
A lot of men actually do it now.
Okay. Anyway, the point is this.
The odd hamster, I think, and...
please don't bring that up. Anyway.
Why do you think they've got little mirrors in the cage?
I said... What, to keep themselves like,
Yeah.
Looking rather, I think I'll go for a run. Yeah.
That cage thing looks
first of all, I'll just go and have a crap in the corner.
Yeah.
It's not, that's a very good question, isn't it? If vampires can't see themselves in mirrors.
Yeah.
Why does Dracula always look so smart? Anyway, the point I said, just, assuming, because you do when you mix with people of a certain outlook, you assume that everyone's more or less on your wavelength. And I just, I looked at this array of cosmetics and said, has any animal testing been carried out on these cosmetics? And she said, oh yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, tested to buggery. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not taking any chances. But I would say that is probably extreme. But if it comes to developing something which will help humans, then wheel them on. Get out the captive bolt and the stun gun for me. And the scalpel.
Surely this
and the blender. And a little miniature saw that removed the top of your skull with a nice clean cut, like in the last, the last one, not the last of Summer Wine, no, it's the audience who've had their brains removed for that, right? That's not funny. There's nothing funny about that whatsoever.
What would you choose out of
crap.
Last of the Summer Wine versus Paul O'Grady, which one would you choose?
Oh dear, that was the worst yet tonight. That was the worst ever. It was appalling.
You had Elton John on recent. Was it last night?
I don't know. It was awful. Let's do the emails now. Here's one. Oh, we haven't got time. Right, here. Edith from Norfolk, you've won a doormat. Anyway, I'm going to pretend to play the organ now. I can't really. Oh, what am I talking about? Am I like me? Thanks very much indeed. That'll be £20 million. What crap? How does it? There is no hope for people. That's Hugo Drax. Ah, you think I don't know where that comes from, don't you, sunshine? Hugo Drax says, James, I agree on your death squad idea. I would like to see the squad patrolling areas of North Manchester, vaporising scum kids and their parents. Brilliant, yeah? And people, well, Paul O'Grady, obviously. The decision should rest entirely in the hands of the decent citizen, okay? So you don't actually have to go through that embarrassing procedure of proving that someone has committed a crime, because that lends itself to human error. And if we go down that road, we get tied up with liberal considerations like the execution of innocent people, and so this is, if we just change the criteria, if we just move the goalposts a bit, the world becomes a much, much better place. Everyone who is decent and has got the correct standards, and we could probably do it by a test, you know, like you do like in the back of a magazine, 20 questions, and what would you, you know, like they do, we could just get everyone in the country to fill one of those out, and then have a look at them, have a good look at them, because you can usually tell, and by a variety of criteria, it would be, I would suggest, it would be a bit like something like the Duckworth-Lewis test, but not as complicated. And everyone who passed it would have one of these ray guns, and everyone who didn't would have an option. Okay? They could behave themselves or face the consequences. Okay? Now then, we're not saying that you could just vaporize anyone you wanted. That would not be good. What we could do is anyone who impinged upon your freedom, on your liberty, you are entirely free to see them off, just to make them disappear into a little cloud of water and a few chemicals. Okay? Bzzz, gone. Okay? Anyone, now that's fair. If they've done anything to disrupt your tranquility, okay. When it comes to eliminating people just because they look the sort, then we would probably ask you to provide some kind of proof.
Where do you draw the line?
Well, I mean, were they ugly? Did they live in a certain area? Did they drive a car before a certain registration? Something like that. You know, was it rusty? Could they be heard quite some distance away in a pub?
Yeah.
Things like that. But there would have to be some kind of basic justification for that. Okay. And I think the place would run a lot more smoothly.
Got some emails?
Yeah.
James, you talk about stupid gits on bikes. How is this for stupid? I was walking down Victoria Avenue and this yob on a superbike came down the road doing a wheelie at least 60 miles an hour. He had a helmet on, no leathers. This is at midday. He did it about 5 times. I wanted him to bail. I can't read the name of the person who sent that, unfortunately.
You wanted him to bail?
Yeah, that's what it says. Don't check it. That's what it says.
You see, this doesn't make sense. That's what I can't understand. Oh, Eugene Kabalikov. You were walking down the Victoria, this Panalero, yeah, on a superbike. Right. Okay, fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hello, James.
Gone. It would be like the Invaders.
As World Cup fever grips the Q103 region next month, please would you stop interrupting me? Please could we have Jackie trying to explain the offside rule, but from the female perspective it would feature in your novelty items section of the show, from Paul in Bredbury.
There is a way of explaining offside, isn't there, that's to do with buying shoes. Yeah. I kept reading it, but I didn't understand it.
Will you be interviewing Pele when he comes to Manchester next week? If so, could you ask him about Escape to Victory and how he got past John Savidant in that tunnel from David Swinton?
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand.
John Savidant was in Escape to Victory, yeah. What they did was, while John Savidant was performing in the amateur dramatics to distract the Germans, or was he playing in goal? I'm getting mixed up with
something else.
Yeah. Anyway, The Great Escape.
Come on.
What they did was they used John Savidant's trousers as a bellows to keep the air circulating while they were digging the tunnel.
Genius.
Yeah.
I love that.
Did they dig a tunnel and escape to victory?
Ron in Rochdale.
The trouble was the air, if it's because they were using John Savidant's trousers, the air wasn't that clever anyway. Yeah.
Ron in Rochdale, now that Debbie Mack has established you wear a rug, even if you are in denial, can we have one of Jackie's in-depth investigations into other areas of your body hair? No. Paul in Oldham, you know Q103's exclusive weather reports done by the lovely Jackie. Why is it exclusive to Q103?
Yeah.
Don't the rest of us get that weather when it comes?
Yeah, I've often wondered that.
Because no one else can tell you the weather over 3 days. We have it exclusively here.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. There you go. We won't call it exclusive otherwise, would we?
No, that would be telling fibs.
You see?
Yeah.
Hello, James. You know you've been discussing the lovely Karita and the Viking Queen recently. Well, I'm sure you'd be thrilled to hear that Karita's right-hand man, the man druid, was played by Patrick Troughton in that film.
Oh, Patrick Troughton.
Troughton.
Oh, brilliant.
He wasn't averse to having Roman prisoners thrown on the fire alive or doing a bit of sacrificing, etc. None of this Geneva Convention with him. Oh, dear. Oh, by the way, I think it was Percy Herbert who played the Roman soldier with a wristwatch.
Percy Herbert? That's been made up. James, I was fisting today.
Oh.
Oh, fishing!
Oh.
Fishing! Oh, well. Oh, if you change it to fishing, the joke's not funny.
No.
Much funnier if you were...
What's this one? Following on to the great Debbie Mack's comments last night, I've been studying your picture on the website. To be honest, I can't tell if it's a wig or not. It looks more like a sleeping hamster to me. Hamsters.
Yeah, there's a right. I think we'll actually... Yeah, we will stop any reference to wigs, hamsters, and body hair, I think.
Okay, just one last one before we have a break. Hi James, all the Greater Manchester Land Jackie fans are wondering what you've got planned for the 8th of June. That's my birthday. Will it be big? God. Will it be spectacular? Will you tell us what you've got planned for Jackie's special day? That's it's from Jackie, our fellow Jackie. Brilliant.
Right.
She spells her name like mine as well.
Yeah, there's one in here. There's one in here somewhere. It's it's a good point to make on radio. There's someone else making inquiries about you. In there somewhere.
About my birthday, 8th of June?
No, not about your birthday. James, what about sterilising people of low IQ to stop them producing more thick, wastrel people and letting the bad genes die out? That's from Hugo Drax. Well, I'll tell you what, mate, what you're proposing is a theory which was developed in I think it was in the late 19th century, and eagerly embraced.
Century?
Yes, it was a Chinese scientist. And was eagerly embraced by a number of leading political figures at the time. It was very, very fashionable. I think you'll find it was referred to as eugenics. That was the name that was coined for it. And a great believer in it was the man who, he believed that the less able should be bred out of the system by selective process. You know what I mean? And this man went on to lead his country into the greatest war that the world has ever seen. 6 years of death and destruction, which resulted in the death of over 55 million people. And that man was...
Sweet. I was reading about Jay Goody.
Was it Robbie Williams?
Sorry. I was reading about Jay Goody.
Oh. Anyway, the man in question was Winston Churchill. Thank you.
We need a break now.
Yeah, you need a break or take a break, because that's what you appear to be reading.
No, I'm reading the paper and we need a break.
A sun-drenched beach, on a sun-drenched island, in a sun-drenched ocean. You're lying on the sand, listening to the sea and taking in the rays. There's an old man sitting next to you peeling a pineapple. In a minute, he'll charge you for that and then try and sell you a necklace made out of seaweed. But you don't care, because you listened out for the 3 songs in a row. The £25,000 triple play. It'll make you rich enough to tolerate old men selling seaweed.
Manchester's #1 hit music station, Key 103.
Jane, The freezer's broke down and it's full of food.
Get to Direct Discounts quick.
What if they haven't got any?
Don't be daft. Direct Discounts is a domestic appliance store. They do everything. Washing machines, dishwashers, tumble dryers, fridges, freezers, gas and electric cookers, built-in ovens, hobs, hoods and loads of those big range cookers. Even American fridge freezers. All on display at discount prices.
We need it now.
Phone them. They might deliver straight away free. Direct Discounts is next to MFI on Manchester Street, Oldham.
We could tell you it's all about craft, tradition, and heritage. But we know you'll only notice one thing. The taste. Magna's Irish Cider. Time dedicated to you.
News for motorists using the M62 this weekend from Friday, May the 12th. The westbound carriageway will close overnight between junctions 21 and 20 for the building of a bridge. Closure is from 9 p.m. Friday till 8 a.m. Saturday and from 9 p.m. Saturday till 9 a.m. Sunday. The eastbound carriageway will stay open. Diversions will be clearly signed. So please allow extra time overnight this weekend on the M62 westbound. The Highways Agency, putting motorway safety first.
Key 103 are bringing Snow Patrol to Manchester. Tickets go on sale this Friday, so don't miss out. Call the Key 103 ticket line on 08701 223 103 or book online at allow.com. Snow Patrol, live at the MEN Arena on Wednesday the 29th of November, only with Manchester's official concert station, Key 103. The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Matters of plenty. On a serious note, before we go to Eccles, matters today, the findings of it's not a public inquiry, but it's been a government inquiry into the explosions, the bombings of the 7th of July last year. They've said that perhaps matters might have been improved if there had been more resources. There will not be a full public inquiry, despite the requests of the families of the victims. A woman inmate has died at Style Prison in Cheshire. She's hanged herself in a cell. Valerie Hayes, 42. That brings the 6 prisoners have died in Style within 12 months, and there was a report shortly, a little while ago, saying that this was a situation which was not satisfactory. However, despite being classified as a vulnerable prisoner, Valerie Hayes managed to hang herself in a cell without the intervention of staff at Style Prison. A lack of resources prevented security services from intercepting the 7th of July London bombers. 2 of the bombers were known to security officers, but the threat they posed was not realised. But it was understandable that the pair had not been, these are the 2 bombers, had not been investigated more fully, the committee of MPs concluded. I suppose it's easy, they do it here, the gaffers do it here. It's easy to look back and say, oh, well, I would have done it differently. But, you know, that's the way the mop flops. And of course, prison for the animal rights liberationists, so-called anyway, who feel that they're doing something serious in threaten to put people's names on a website if they were shareholders in a certain company which they felt was involved in animal testing. Some of them obviously have robbed the grave of the mother of the people who ran this firm which produces guinea pigs for medical experiments. They really are. Okay, there are ways of doing these things. You can actually, on stuff like that, you can actually get things done through the normal channels and a little bit of agitation. But to get so worked up about this thing, to get so mithered about it, there really is a big hole in their existence. There are so many. They aren't going around complaining about the exploitation of third world countries by the major industrial nations, they're not wrecking things, they're not taking people hostage to get a stop put to that, are they? They're not threatening anyone. No, they've just got a bee in their sad bonnets about this. That's what that's all about. And of course, 13-year-old from Lee killed on one of these bloody mini motorbikes, which, right, I normally do, because they are such, they exist, these bikes, as they exist purely to be a nuisance. That's all they're here for. And nothing cheers me up as much as seeing someone get hit by a car door while riding one, or get pulled by the coppers. That is fantastic. It's going too far for somebody to get killed. But, alright, the lad was doing it without his parents' knowledge, apparently. But this should not. Something should be done about them. And you find it, you don't want anyone to die, but I find it difficult when someone does something which is quite clearly A, ill-advised, B, against the traffic laws, and there is an unfortunate outcome. 0161 288 0103. Let's see, that should have done it. That should have started. That should have generated some intelligent, and we may have caused a conservatory. Let's go to Eccles, and let's talk to, it's a Phil in Eccles. Hello, Phil.
Good evening, Reeve.
Frequent listener, first time caller?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right.
Look, I'd like to talk, about these animal rights extremists, activists, call them what you will, who've been jailed for 12 years.
Yeah?
I've got to say, I have to, say that I have a great deal of sympathy for these people.
Why? What? For these animal rights activists?
Yeah, very much so.
Why?
Well, I believe that we as a nation, we as a world, by and large, we treat animals appallingly. And I think that these people who stand up for the plight of animals that have done nothing wrong to anybody are very brave, very heroic people.
I know we treat animals appallingly.
Yep.
But what are they... Are they all vegans, do you think?
Well, look, I went to a meeting at the Basement Cafe in Piccadilly. So it takes place at the first Wednesday of the month at 7:30, of a group called Manchester Animal Protection. And these people are vegans. And they just, they go around picketing, circuses and fur shops and whatever, McDonald's, stuff like that. And they go to Huntingdon Life Sciences in Cambridge, and they protest outside there, and they're just well-meaning people. They're doing something that most people turn a blind eye to, They're seeing suffering and they're trying to campaign against it.
Are you a vegan, Phil?
No, I'm not. No.
Are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're a carnivore?
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
Well, an omnivore.
Well, what are you, James?
I would say I am an omnivore.
I've heard you say before you were a vegetarian.
Not all the time, though, because there's some things that just...
you can't say no to.
Bacon sandwich.
Right. Well, that's the strange thing, I won't eat pork.
I like prawns as well.
Yeah, well, I like prawns too. Yeah. But anyway, what I'm saying is these people...
And veal, I know it gets a very bad press, but sometimes veal's lovely.
It is appalling, isn't it, the way a calf is treated?
Yeah.
The conditions it's kept in, so some fat bastard can eat it in a restaurant and can smack his lips with delight after he's chewed that last morsel.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Yeah. But I garden organically.
Well, that's very commendable, Reeve. But like I'm saying, I mean, look, these animal rights activists, a few weeks ago, we were told on the news, they were to expect 12 years maximum if they didn't say where the body of Mrs. Hammond was.
Right.
That if they did say where the body of Mrs. Hammond was, they'd get a lesser sentence. Now, they've told where the body was, the body's been found, and they've been betrayed. They've been given 12 years, the maximum sentence.
Haven't these people got anything else to worry about, though?
What do you mean? Have they got... What do you mean by that?
I don't really see how I can be any more explicit.
Be more specific.
Look, the world is full of evils. I know what it is. The majority of these people, I disapprove.
Reeve.
No, shut up.
Please, Reeve.
No, shut up. I disapprove of a great many things. The use of animals for the testing of cosmetics and what have you, clearly should not be done. That is simply unfair. The breeding of animals to produce food should be done as humanely as possible, but should still be done.
It's not humane, is it?
No, there are ways of improving it. Let them apply pressure through Parliament, through this, that, and the other. Right? But I tell you what I fear is that these people have. It's probably quite complicated psychology, but they've found a way of making themselves feel important.
It's not true.
And useful.
That's not true.
I think that's the case with them, and therefore they pursue it beyond the point of sound judgment.
You are so misguided.
I'm telling you the way it is. How can you call me misguided? I've just come up with the perfect plan for cleansing our society.
What is it?
Pretty much random execution.
Look, Reeve.
Carefully judged.
Reeve.
Yeah.
Look, the third world, has Bob Geldof and Bono. The animals, they have these people. These people are doing more for animals than Bob Geldof and Bono, who live in their ivory towers and enjoy the lives of the idle rich.
You got
the third world.
You've got Carla Lane.
Yeah, Carla Lane, she's great. She is fantastic. You've got Paul McCartney, he's fantastic. What, he and his wife... What?
Digging up bodies from graves, though, do they?
They don't, obviously they don't. These people who did that are extremists, and what they did was appalling, but they do not deserve 12 years.
I see. Right.
Look, Reeve, we live in a society where a gang of yobs can beat someone senseless, beat them to death, and they'll do 4 years for manslaughter. These people dug up a body and they're doing 12 years prison. Probably in a maximum security jail, 7 hard years time, it's just ridiculous.
6 years. It was 6 years of torment for the family. And it was intentional. I think that's probably a big difference. It was intentional at every step of the way.
But they've been betrayed by the judiciary. They were told that if they came up with where the body was, they'd get a lesser sentence than the maximum, and they've been given the maximum. And what this will do, it will create more people who will be embittered by this, and they'll become animal rights activists. They'll become extremists. But the point I'm trying to make, Reeve...
a lot of things, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make, Reeve, is that...
Sorry, I just... I think I went into a very brief coma.
Did you really?
But I'm all right now. Sorry.
Very funny of you.
So I've just injected the. It's okay. The antidote's working its way through the system. Yeah.
Reeve.
Hi.
Are you there, Reeve?
Yeah. Come on. I'll take you all on.
Reeve.
Sorry.
The point is, slaughterhouses are no more than latter-day Auschwitzes and Buchenwalds, and the people who work in those slaughterhouses are no more than the concentration camp guards. Circuses and laboratories. Monstrous places.
I quite agree. It is a serious area of human concern.
And these people are the only ones doing something about it.
Politicians should be doing something. The trouble is, I'll tell you what it is. The trouble is, you get people who are... I'll tell you who's probably the best example of this sort of thing.
Who is?
Someone whose self-image runs away with them.
No, that's bollocks, right?
Let's recall a name from the not-too-distant past. And I wonder what he's doing today.
Swampy.
Exactly! It's not you, is it?
No, I'm not Swampy, Reeve.
Let's just ask... Well, it's a matter of opinion. Let's ask Jackie here. Do you remember Swampy?
Yeah.
Right. What was his real name?
Don't know.
Right. Yeah, that sort of thing. Some people, or people who barricade themselves in a tree. Except Spike Milligan, he did that. But I've got quite a lot of time for him for doing that.
As always, Reeve, you're changing the subject, aren't you? You're losing the argument, so you change the subject. Style.
I'm able to look at many facets of a question.
You're a
That's
gifted
the point.
comic. You're a great guy. You're incredibly funny, but you are a crap debater.
That's true. That's true.
It's true. It's very true. I mean, you're up there with Bob Hope. I watched Up You Man You, and I almost had a stroke laughing. It was that funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you a copy of Up You Man You 2 and see
please,
if we can tip the scales. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe next time you'll send me to an early death. Who knows?
It's no good trying to get round me. Anyway, now get off. Right, that was Fairley Eccles. That was smashing, wasn't it? Should we have a word with Sylvia, or are there things to do? Oh, yeah, there. Hang on, Sylvia. I hope you're all right after listening to that dear, but I'm afraid that, well, your agony is over. There's just, here's something totally enjoyable until we actually speak to each other.
Key 103's Toolin in the Morning, giving away the biggest prizes.
We're about to find out who's flying to the USA with Continental Airlines. We asked you a few minutes ago, to the nearest million, how many international visitors visited New York during 2004? The correct answer is 6 million, which means that the winner is Kimberly. From the foreign exchange, you're going off to New York.
Work your way to the USA final with Continental Airlines, now flying to New York twice a day and Manchester's Key 103.
From this week, please do not be alarmed if your computer makes the following sound.
You're gonna be okay, do you understand me? But you have to sit absolutely still.
If you missed the start of the new series of Lost, it's now available to watch online at channel4.com/Lost and on demand through NTL, Telewest and Home Choice. If it continues to make a strange noise after playing Lost, your computer's rubbish.
The Carling Get a Result Sing-Along Lesson 1. Italy.
Dai, dai, insieme noi caschiamo, ci rotoliamo in terra e ci ammentiamo.
Dive, dive, wherever we may be. We roll around, feigning injury. With Carling's Get a Result promotion, you might want to get ready to cheer on some other teams, because if your result comes in, you could win up to £50. Full details in participating outlets. Entrance must be over 18, no purchase necessary. Spot on.
A British Army team are attempting to climb Everest via the West Ridge. To follow in their footsteps, go to armyoneverest.mod.uk or text Everest to 84118. Key 103 are bringing Snow Patrol to Manchester. Tickets go on sale this Friday, so don't miss out. Call the Key 103 ticket line on 08701 223 103 or book online at allow.com. Snow Patrol, live at the MEN Arena on Wednesday the 29th of November, only with Manchester's official concert station, Key 103. The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
I've got a text message here. It says, I nearly had veal today until I saw the price. Sylvia in Wally Range. Sylvia!
Good evening, James.
Sylvia!
I do agree. I'm listening to Phil. I do agree what it says about the animals, but I suppose you could say I'm a hypocrite because I don't do it. Shut it! Because I don't do anything about it, or other people don't, do they really?
Don't do anything about what?
Well, like, you know, these activists, you know, these people that, you know, against all this, you know, doing things on animals, testing them, you know, for things.
Sylvia, you've just said you know about 6 times in
Did I? Sorry about that.
1.5 sentences.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Calm down. Are you a bit agitated about it?
Well, I am a bit. But what I'm saying is I'm not really doing anything about it. Like some people, like you say, they're doing it for their own importance, aren't they?
Well, I mean, what could you do about it?
Well, I don't know. I don't suppose you could do much, really.
Right. To be fair, I mean, you're not going to bring Bernard Matthews to his knees, are you?
That's true.
Okay. Then, of course, there was that unfortunate footage that they showed of those people playing what appeared to be it's a bit like Alice in Wonderland, wasn't it? The way they were knocking those turkeys about.
That's right, yeah.
What is it now? It's hedgehogs and flamingos, isn't it, in Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
It called that to mind. So, I mean, clearly that kind of activity is deeply unfair.
Yeah, yeah.
So, right, so something should be done about that.
Yeah.
But as regards the fact that we use animals, what's the alternative? What is the alternative, seriously?
Well, there's not, is there?
John in Bolton says here, The main issue, listen, I'm going to read you something. The main issue regarding animal rights versus so-called animal cruelty is that too many people in society have lost respect for each other or mankind and have more respect for little animals that scurry around on the ground.
True.
When will people realise, continues John, that we were put on this earth to dominate all the animals? Yes, this must be done in a humane way, but humans are more precious than bloody animals. The bastards who dug up the body of that poor old woman should be executed for the pure contempt that they showed for her body and her family. 12 years, in my book, isn't long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's all you can say after a diatribe like that.
Well, there's not much you can say, really. I mean, I agree with what he said. But, I mean, I suppose some people get fed up with the way the world is and the people in it, so they go looking after animals and things like that, don't they, really?
Well, yeah, but look, I'm telling you, I'm perfectly serious about this. You get some people who, they light upon a cause.
Yeah.
And they find that this gives them something to do, it gets them noticed. They may start off with the best of intentions, but as you can write a long list of people who started off with the best of intentions. Okay? I think Saddam Hussein, I believe, started off with the very best of intentions.
No, did he?
Oh yeah. So, but then you see, it all goes wrong. So, they discover that this cause, about which they sincerely feel strongly, it broadens their circle of friends, it gives them the opportunity to deliver talks, and to travel around, and to feel part of a little community, and they then lose all perspective on this.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, James, yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, yeah.
And then the next thing is, let's organise a bigger and better demonstration, and honestly, the vast majority are probably, decent Liberal Democrats for whom
I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
What I was going to talk about really was about having perfect parents, really. And the only way that I can see it, but you're going to probably think it's ridiculous, is the young lads, before they get to puberty, is to temporarily sterilise them, and when they want to become fathers and get a decent, lady friend or whatever, then they could reverse it. Then we'd stop all this, what's going on in the world, fighting and mugging and raping, I mean, it wouldn't be done because it'd be like dictatorship, wouldn't it, really? Like Hitler, wouldn't it, really?
Like what sort of universal vasectomy?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You don't think it would work, no?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I think my idea of just making people disappear off the face of the earth is better. It's just that we haven't got the technology at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, but we are looking into it. Right. I'm looking on the internet to see if there's any plans for a death ray.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one from a bloke in America.
Yeah.
Oh, if I send him $30,000, he'll send me a death ray. Oh, I'll do that.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Well, don't you think it's...
and another man has got £80 million that in the bank account of someone who used to be in the Nigerian government.
No,
Yeah. And he'll give me half of it.
Oh, will he?
Yeah.
All right.
If I just give him the number of my bank account and my PIN number. Hey, man, this is brilliant. I'm having some of this. Woo. eBay. Tin of fresh air on eBay.
So you don't think that's a good idea then, anyway? Temporary sterilisation until they want to become fathers, parents, whatever,
This is the extraordinary thing, you see. And I won't tell the anecdote again, but it happened to a mate of mine who wanted to adopt a kid and was told that he couldn't.
Yeah.
Because they decided that he worked too hard. He was turned down on the grounds that he worked too hard.
He worked too hard?
Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, he worked too hard, you see. He was a builder.
Yeah.
And he especially in the summer, he started work when it got light, and he'd work till
it got dark.
Till it got dark, yeah.
Yeah.
And in order to, provide, he'd done a nursery and everything and decorated it and what have you. Got a cot, he'd got everything there.
Yeah.
And they'd applied for adoption. And they said, no, you can't. No.
That's true.
This is absolutely true. He worked all the hours God sends.
You see, they won't be there for it, would they?
That's exactly what they said. That's exactly what they said.
I mean, in that way, it's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. You won't spend enough time with this child. Right?
Well.
On the other hand, when you look at the slack-jawed degenerates.
Yes, I know.
You don't have to fill in any form. You don't have to satisfy any criteria. You do not have to demonstrate in any way that you are fit and appropriate to bring up a kid.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Jobs are good 'un.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Sylvia, that was an enormous Raquel then, wasn't it?
I know, I'm sorry about that. I do apologise, James. That's not like me, at all.
I think you burped a bit of sick then.
No, how horrible. That's disgusting, that is.
Sorry.
Listen.
Yeah.
You've got an anniversary, haven't you?
What do you mean I've got one?
Well, it's a year ago, isn't it?
What is?
When you went on the radio.
Is it?
Well, I think it is, if you look at the diary.
Oh, I don't know.
The calendar.
I don't bother.
And I think you're getting a bit, things are getting on top of you.
I know, I've not had any time off.
Well, I can't understand why you've not been away on holiday.
The only time I've had off is because I'm dedicated in a way that you just don't find these days. You don't see workmanship like this these days.
Well, you don't. I mean, why can't you go away to a nice holiday?
Well, there's a saying in commercial radio, never go away on holiday. Oh, yeah.
Don't you fancy it?
What? Look, no, because I'm dedicated and devoted to you. I don't mean to thou.
No,
I don't mean to you. Yeah, right. I've had 6 days off, and they were all in Ward 11 in Manchester Royal Infirmary.
I know they were, yeah.
Which is nice. It's lovely, especially at this time of year.
Yeah, but who wants to spend a holiday in hospital?
Some people would.
Mind you, some people aren't going there all the time, don't they? That's doctor surgery.
They love it. They can tell you everything, every detail.
I know, yeah.
I've forgotten about this. The bloke opposite me. There's no names, no patron.
No, that's right, yeah.
There was some right Herberts in there.
No, you get them all, I know.
Oh, dear me. There's a fella came in. I couldn't believe this fella was still alive. What? He was the colour of... It's very... I think there is a colour called gamboge.
Oh, I never heard of that. Oh, you're very clever and I'm an idiot, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say... It's like I'm just trying to think. It's like... you remember when you used to wet the bed, Sylvia?
I've never wet that bloody bed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps it's just me then.
Are you trying to insinuate that there's something wrong? You did that to another bloke the other night and I was getting really mad. I thought James said to this bloke, are you not mentioning disability? Have you got something, a hang-up about disabilities?
No, but I'm just thinking at your age, you must be getting a bit...
What do you mean, Mike? How old do you think... Listen, I'm going to tell you something, James. You are not as young. You keep saying you're 38 and 28. Yeah. But you men are vain. You're older than you are.
Well, that's interesting, Mr. Einstein.
What?
But seriously, Sylvia, no, I'm not being disrespectful. We've all got to face facts, Sylvia, and you must be getting a bit leaky.
I'm not getting bloody leaky. Cock-a-leaky soup, no.
Not even when you cough?
Well, might be.
Yeah, well, there we are, you see.
What about you, then?
No, I'm talking about... look, let's go back to this...
This man in the Royal.
Yeah. There was all sorts going on. There's a fella who I thought he kept sounding... I thought he was going to drown in bed. It was horrible, because his lung... Oh, something, I don't know what it was. Something kept filling up.
Did it?
And when it reached the top, he had to get rid of it. I didn't want to...
Oh, it'd be one of them things, a catheter.
Oh, I don't... No, this was in his throat.
Oh, right.
It was ghastly. Right?
Oh, that's terrible.
There's another fella who looked... Oh, he was... what's the nearest colour? He was like a... yellowy brown colour.
Well, that's your liver.
It was... Oh, yeah, I think it was. You'd never seen anything like it. Anyway, there's a bloke opposite, and I was hoping he was on some sort of machine that I could switch off during the night.
That's not very nice.
Or at least stand on a tube.
Because it was dreadful.
What a pain in the backside this bloke was. One of those voices that can convey itself to the opposite end of a ward without any apparent effort.
Were they all old in the ward, were they?
They were all over 38, so I did feel a bit left out, yeah.
Oh, well, you would see you're 28,
yeah. But anyway, this is the point. This bloke, what a sphincter this bloke was. It was everything, draw attention to himself. He was using his mobile phone, booming out, nurse.
One of them types,
yeah, they're all rushing about, because some bloke's drowning in his own spit in the corner, and he's going, nurse, is there any idea what's for supper this evening? It was awful.
I can imagine, I've seen the type, yeah.
He was terrible, this man. He was told on several occasions, don't get out of bed.
And he did.
He did! Then, he'd hit the deck, and all the staff would have to stop resuscitating people and come and ask him if he was all right and get... Oh, God, right. He was murder. Anyway, in the bed next to me, there's a tiny little fella. You might remember this. Do you remember somebody called Hiram Holiday?
Oh, I seem to know that name. But the small man with a bald head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little baldy man with glasses on.
That's right.
And there's this little bloke. And, what did he... Oh, I thought, at first I thought he was called Henry, but then I realised he was called Hendrik.
Oh, Hendrik, yeah.
And it turns out he's Polish.
Oh, I thought it would be,
Oh! Did I detect a note of disapproval there, Sylvia?
No, I was saying I thought he would be Polish.
Oh, right.
With a name like that.
Okay, yeah. So he's sitting there and he never spoke, and I said, all right, mate. Yes, this, that. And I don't know how... It cropped up as... I can't remember how we got onto this tack. So, when did you... How long have you been living it? Because he was obviously Polish-born, still got quite an accent, but obviously could speak Mancunian.
Yeah.
He says, I've been here since 1946. I said, oh, what, did you come over during the war? He said, well, just before the war, when we knew it was going to kick off, right? I said, oh, so what, do you never go back to... He said, no, I stayed here. He said, but I joined the Free Polish while I was here. Yeah. Anyway, I said, so what did you do? Did you in Italy or something like that? He said, no, I was at Arnhem.
Arnhem, yeah.
She's sitting there looking, she's not a clue what I'm talking about. Anyway, he parachuted into Arnhem, and most of his mates were killed. And there he is. His missus died. He lives on his own.
Ask him if Stuart Pearce has shown his age concern.
God, what the hell was that?
Oh,
God! Oh!
No, John...
That was like The Exorcist!
John was creeping over the bed and he said, ask James, has Stuart Pearce shown the age concern? I'm sorry about that. He was telling me a story. Sorry about that, James.
Reading fairy tale.
That frightened the life out of me then.
Did you frighten the life out of James? I didn't frighten the life out of me. Wouldn't who it was.
You frightened the life out.
I nearly became religious then.
Well, they're not terrible, James.
That was awful. What's that film? What does he say in that film?
That's what you doing.
Oh, he's collapsed now. It's the end.
Out of bed.
The end of the world. Demons are speaking to us.
Oh, dear me. Anyway, what about this Hendrik?
Oh yeah. So
We're interrupted by him.
Yeah. Poor old sod there. He's sitting there. His wife's been dead a few years. In fact, if he's listening now, I'm not taking the mickey, mate, because you're an absolute champion.
A nice chap.
Right. And he was the one. He'd been there, and he never moaned. He didn't like to trouble that. I don't want to cause any trouble. Why didn't you tell us anything? No, well, I didn't like to because I know you've got things to do. This other pillock on the other side of the wall.
Right, that's how they are, James. Yeah. I bet you're the same. I bet you were nice in the ward, weren't you? You wouldn't put anybody to trouble, would you?
I said I was so. I didn't even. I didn't do anything that would inconvenience them.
No.
But there's sometimes you're walking around with a cardboard tube full of your own urine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you think I don't really want to go up to anyone and say, this is for you.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say a joke then, about taking the you-know-what out of me.
No, the Mickey Bliss.
Yes.
No, we covered that. We covered that on a Monday night recently.
All right. Oh, yes, that's right.
Anyway, listen, this bloke who parachuted into Ireland, been bloody fought for, how long did they hang on? 12 days or something? The German army tried to blow them to bits. Right, he managed to get out, and he said most of his friends didn't.
Yeah.
And there he is, doing...
Oh, shame.
And, as I say, he's on his own, there's a council flat. He's got a mate who he sees now and again, and they were making arrangements for Meals on Wheels and all this.
Bless him.
And I know young people will say, well, what the hell, this is all about people at death's door, but you've got to, one day, if the shiftless shower of bloody pond life.
To get bloody old.
Yeah. If they ever actually do anything in their lives, they might actually one day realise that we're talking about them in 40 years' time or 60 years' time or whatever it turns out to be.
Yeah.
By which time we must face the horrid proposition that they might have increased the human longevity. So these dickheads that you see walking about today might live to be 120.
God help us. But, James, you're right, because my dad's been dead 18 years, and he was in Burma, right, in the Second World War, in the 14th Army, right, the Forgotten Army, as he called them. And he said, before he died, 19 years ago, he said to me, you know what, Phil, what did I fight for? Now, whether he was wrong or whether he was right, I don't know. But that's what his words before he died. What did I fight for? Because even then it was bad then, 20 years ago. Well, it's always been bad, I suppose, really, hasn't it?
Well, my dad fought in France, and he fought in North Africa.
Yeah.
And he fought in Italy, and he fought in Germany.
Yeah.
He couldn't get on with anybody.
You couldn't get on with anybody?
No.
No.
Well, that's just the type of bloke he was.
Well, that's a joke, right?
Yes, of course it's a joke!
Sylvia.
Did you know your dad?
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I mean to say, he was in the army, that was true, yeah.
Yeah, oh, you mean that one... When I asked my mum who my dad...
What are you saying now?
When I asked my mum who my dad was, she said some soldiers.
No, I'm saying...
What?
Did you know your dad?
Of course I did!
What did he say about the war?
He said it was a terrible thing as far as he understood.
Well, I know that. But did he have any regrets?
None whatsoever, because he fell off his motorbike and therefore wasn't sent overseas. No, it's true. He was listen. I'm deadly serious now.
I don't know when you're serious or not.
I'm being perfectly I'm being perfectly serious.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Right. There are two things I would not joke about: what the old man got up to, and what my Uncle Arthur got up to in the First World. Great Uncle Arthur in the First World War.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
Now, no, seriously, the old man was he was in the Duke of Lancaster's yeomanry.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Right, territorial,
yeah.
And they fly a guidon.
Yes.
Regimental colours is a guidon. And they fought with great distinction in Mesopotamia in the First World War. But the thing about yeoman... If a regiment's called a yeomanry regiment, it means it is drawn from the people, from the common people, like yourself, Sylvia.
What do you mean, like me?
Well, you know.
I think you've got something against me.
No, he
I'm just explaining.
Ignore him.
I know, very hard to do though, isn't it?
Oh, but listen, now the original concept of a yeomanry regiment was that in time of war, at the behest of the Lord of the Manor, you had to provide your own horse.
Oh, right.
Right. Now, how my dad went on in Pendleton, I have no idea. Because the only horses he would have access to would be either the Rag and Bone Man or Vincent's, the ice cream wallow, right?
Or Granelli's.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Now, either of those, they would miss the horse, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Right. So how he went on, I don't know.
Right.
But he finished up in the Duke of Lancaster's yeomanry. Right. Now, he was a dispatch rider.
Oh, right.
And, hurtling backwards and forwards, he come off his bike and broke both his legs.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So that was, it wasn't one of these mini bikes, they hadn't been invented yet.
No.
So,
the big ones, yeah.
Yeah. It was probably a Norton or a Dot.
Yeah.
Right. There was a young lady from Gorton who had one long... Anyway, it doesn't matter. But there is a motorcycle involved in that particular limerick. Okay.
Right.
Like a 650 Norton.
650 Norton,
That's
yeah.
how it ends up, yeah.
Oh, yes,
There was a young barmaid from Braille. No. There was a young barmaid from Sale.
Oh, dear.
What?
Hey, Jackie.
And on
How
her...
do you put up with him?
I don't.
No, you don't know.
And on her behind, for the sake of the blind, was the same information in Braille.
Every night, Sylvia.
That's how it finishes up.
Oh, isn't it awful?
And every day.
Anyway, the point is...
The point is this.
No, how old is he?
Who?
You!
38! I've told you. How many times do I have to tell you?
Well, how can you be? We've been on the radio for 25 years.
I was a child star.
Oh, cool. Yeah, like Elizabeth Taylor.
And Archie Andrews.
Yeah, the puppet, yeah.
I can't pass comment on that, Sylvia.
She can't pass anything.
Next time you ring, I'll tell you.
No, you can't.
Don't go on to that one again.
No, we've done that gag, haven't we?
We've done that one, yeah.
Right.
Right, I'll let you go then.
All right, thank you very much. I'm sorry, we're going to have to... I'll let you go as well.
And
Right.
much obliged, James.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, you probably need to let one go. And tell him...
Tell him what?
Tell him not to do that to me again. It was horrible. It was...
Well, it was horrible to me. He went over me enough on what the hell's going on here?
Nothing worse.
Terrible.
Yeah, I know. Very...
Right, James.
We're getting lots of comments saying your laugh is a proper tonic.
Oh, isn't that nice?
That's lovely, that, isn't it?
I know
Lovely.
someone likes me anyway. Jackie likes me.
I do, yeah.
You see?
Yeah, all right.
My dear friend Jackie.
Yes. We're getting stuff addressed to the Jackie Finnegan show now. This will have to stop. James, are you going to have a listeners' party in the near future?
Can we
We're
do
not
that?
going to have a listeners' party under any circumstances whatsoever.
It'd be really good fun.
The human race is the most harmful, twisted force on this planet. The sooner we develop a bioweapon that kills humans only, the better. And that's from Dr. Peters, ATM. Well, they did. Remember the neutron bomb? That was defined as the ultimate capitalist weapon. This was, it was supposed to be being developed, but,
I've got
there's...
foot. I've got...
There's no confirmation whether this actually happened, but the neutron bomb, which was the American government was supposed to be developing the neutron bomb under Jimmy Carter, and they said they were going to stop it because it wasn't fair. Now, obviously, if you'd got a bomb that was better than anything else anybody else had, you're going to lie about it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to say, well, we're not building one. Get building it. Do you want a bottle to put that in? Okay. Yeah, the neutron bomb. Look it up, actually, while I'm talking
All
to...
right, then, we'll do. Sandra.
Sandra, to Nitinora. Okay. Look it up. Neutron bomb.
How do you spell it?
Destroys... Eh?
How do you spell it?
What?
Neutron bomb.
Neutron.
N-U-T-R-A-R-O-N.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking.
It's like working with George W. Bush.
Just checking.
Neutron.
No.
Neutron.
Right, forget it. Talk to Sandra.
Nuclear. Honestly, that's appalling. But the thing about it was, it allegedly destroyed people. Destroyed people, but left buildings, property, intact.
No.
And allegedly. And that's why it was described as the perfect capitalist weapon. Because it had... property was everything, and people meant nothing. That was the idea. Sandra. Isn't that right, Sandra, what I'm saying?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, good evening, James.
Okay, then. Why? Have you got another definition of the neutron bomb?
I don't even know what one is.
I've just told you.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll come back to that one then. Yes!
Yeah.
What can we do for you, Sandra?
Right. Good evening, James. It's me, Sandra. Frank Sidebottom's #1 fan.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I'm not an old bent.
Did I suggest anything of that nature?
Last time I spoke, when I was 38 years old, I saw you in 1989 at St. Anne's Square with the spiral carpets and the man from Del Monte.
Oh, the man from Del Monte, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you were Frank Sidebottom, weren't you?
No!
You liar! Anyway, right.
What on earth is this?
Because...
I know what's going on here.
I know the lady asked for my name and address, the young lady.
Address?
I left it, thinking I would get, I might catch something off you from Frank.
Right.
You know, a photo.
Yes.
Maybe the song. Simple as Sunset. I don't know.
I've just thought, I have got a photograph somewhere of me, Tommy Docherty.
Yeah, right.
Your fancy man.
No.
And Frank Sidebottom together.
It's you.
This establishes that I am not Frank Sidebottom.
Okay, send it to me, thank you.
Well, we'll post it on the website. Oh dear, I don't think that's probably the...
No,
that doesn't really solve your problem, that I don't, Sandra, because... So how old will you be now then? 70 what?
What? I was 38 in 99, how old are you?
Well, I'm 38 now, you see.
You
all right, Sandra?
When I was 38.
Sound as if you took the cloth then.
Sorry?
You sound as if you'd...
Yes.
Yeah, soiled yourself a bit.
I would laugh, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Now listen, I want your opinion on something.
Okay then.
Right.
I never thought my life would end in a deluge of incontinent women.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, give me your opinion on this, right? Right, because she's supposed to be, really, really intelligent.
Okay.
Well, Frank Sidebottom is, anyway, whatever. Right, I'd like your opinion on a matter that I've been thinking about for a long, long time.
Here we are then, yes.
Right, now, in America, some folk choose to be frozen when they pass on. But I'm not sure what the correct word is. I don't know if it's called something like cryogenetic.
Yes. Cryogenetics?
Is that the correct word?
Well, if you're talking about freezing people, yeah.
That's the stuff.
Yes.
Right. What I'm puzzled about is, because when we pass over, our souls go first. That's what they say, innit?
What? Just give me that again.
What? When we pass over into another dimension, our souls go first.
Well, I believe that that's moonshine, frankly. But whatever. I mean, I'm familiar with some of the theories about this sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway, get to the point.
Well,
for the purpose of this discussion, let's put it this way, Sandra. You are saying that in your view, as someone, you're a theist, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Atheist.
Okay. A what?
I'm an atheist.
Oh, right. So that's not that's the opposite of a theist.
Exactly. But
Okay.
It's just what I hear. I get the gist of.
Okay. But although I am aware of the latest thinking on these matters, right? So for the sake of argument, let's say that I go along. We'll work on the basis that human beings have a soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
now,
what people say.
Right. Your point being what?
Right. Well, do you know these persons that have been frozen?
Yeah.
Well, what happens? Even suppose somebody was to bring them back, where has their souls gone? Because they won't have one, will they? What do you reckon?
Well, isn't Walt Disney supposed to be immersed in liquid nitrogen at the moment until they come up with a way of sorting things out?
Who's that? Cartoon man?
Yeah, he's a real man. Walt Disney. As opposed to Bing Crosby.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
Sandra, should I tell you a Scottish joke?
If you must, Frank.
I must. I simply must.
Go on, Frank. Hit me with it.
No, I'm not Frank. Don't call me Frank.
Okay, Mr. Sidebottom, whatever. Hit me with it.
Right. I'll hit you with something. Oh, incontinent women with bad chests. Anyway, listen. What's the difference? It's a Scottish joke.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that. What's the difference between Bing Crosby and Walt Disney? And this Scottish bloke says, I know. Go on. Do you know?
No.
Okay, he says, Bing sings, but Walt Disney.
Okay, Frank.
Oh,
you've had your joke now.
That's fantastic. What a gag that is, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Izzard.
I thank you. I know, but listen. What's your favourite on that cry a finger?
Cry a thingy? Cry me a river?
Cry genetic, whatever.
Yeah. It's,
Have you got one? I mean,
what?
These guys that pass on, when they come back, well, they won't have a soul, will they?
Well, you see, you're better off putting that question to someone who believes in the concept of a soul.
Oh, right.
Because your soul, in actual fact, your soul is only your own imaginings. Cogito ergo sum. I'm quoting Rene Descartes at you now, as you probably know.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Of course.
Now, the point is this, that we only exist because we think. Everything we imagine is because we happen to have a thing in our head, which is, by some extraordinary coincidence, quite the most complicated thing in the universe, as far as we know. But then again, since we know next to nothing, we could very easily be wrong. But it is clearly an unusual thing we have in the brain. And if you listen to this show a great deal, you'll have realised that some are more peculiar than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, the only reason we think we've got a soul is because we are able to think. That's all. The soul is only... You're only what goes in your own head. That's all you are.
Oh, good.
Frankly. Now then, on the other hand, cryogenics might be much more important in the short term. Have you got a cat?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't like cats.
Have you got a dog?
Yeah.
Ah, now then.
What dog have you got, Sandra?
Shishu.
A what?
Shishu.
Oh, now there's no need for that. We're all
so
grown
cute,
up.
Oh, shut your gob. No.
Just say the word. Just don't do
it's a
that.
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu.
Oh.
You're doing it a posh way.
I was hoping you'd be closer than that, Sandra.
Yeah.
Say it properly.
Shih Tzu.
Yeah, she's trying to gloss over
You're
it.
trying to be
Yeah, it's like people who refuse to say Uranus, isn't it? It's, yeah.
Right.
What's it called?
Shih Tzu.
No, what's the dog called?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, ho, ho, ho! Touche!
Yeah, what's he laughing at? At least he's a hard little guy.
Right.
You one soft guy, you won't even admit you, Frank.
I am not Frank Sidebottom. Now shut up with that.
Well, admit
and
your age.
say Shih Tzu properly.
No, not until you tell me your age.
38. I'm telling you.
How can you be?
Also,
wait a minute.
A Shih Tzu is in fact, as is well known, is a zoo with no animals in it.
Right. Okay. You insulted my little pooch.
You're what?
My little ducky.
Okay. Look, I'm going to tell you something.
Black.
When he dies,
yeah.
Have you got 800?
A carrier finger? No, I ain't got one.
Have you got 800 quid? You can lay your hands on.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Plus a yearly fee of £80. For that, this is a true story. This, Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
They will take some cells from your what's it, Ricky Lee?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
And keep them in cold storage.
It's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he shuffles off, you can have him cloned.
I soon have Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not going to last forever, is he?
He wouldn't.
Right?
He wouldn't be the same though, would he?
Oh, you mean the real one?
Yeah.
Well, I can't see him schlepping over to...
He around the same age as you now, James, isn't he? Tommy Lee Jones, eh?
Hang on, I think I'm just about to be the victim of an unprovoked assault by some little-known martial art.
Oh, please. I don't wish to be rude. I don't wish... How very dare you?
Force yourself!
Listen...
Look, look, you can have the bloody dog recreated. You can have it cloned.
I'm not talking about the bloody dog. I'm talking about you, man. If I were 38 in 1989...
38? God blimey, mate. Well, you turn into a pearly queen then for a moment, Sondra.
Yeah.
Leave it out.
Oh, for God's sake, mate. Listen, if I were 38 then, you were older than me. Right? I know that for a fact. Because the man from Del Monte told me.
It's like a
and in spiral carpets.
Oh, God blimey, the man from Del Monte, he said, what am I doing in Manchester? This is my worst nightmare.
I thought he was
I've only had this white suit on for 5 minutes and it's filthy. James, if Walt Disney is frozen then brought back to life, does that mean that he's been reanimated? James, what is this, over 80s night? You'll be discussing the next biscuits for dunking next.
Hobnobs.
Oh, no, don't!
Here's an email. James, is it true that you and the lovely Jackie are going to appear on Strictly Come Dancing? You'll never lift You'll never lift her off the floor with your bad back.
Ooh, no, not with my chest. God, I'd be nuts to be like bags of cement.
Do you remember we were talking about that girl who got in touch with us, who sent us pictures looking like Beverly Knight? We're going to have a break in a minute, but
yeah,
we've got an email from her. James, late on last night, around the time you had your third Ladyboy in a month on, some tart...
There's a lot of that going on at the moment, isn't there?
Some tart asked if Jackie fancied some girl action. Please tell her that my offer still stands. I did not know whether she had a boyfriend when I asked her, but should she ever fancy trying batting for the other side, I would gladly show her the ropes and the chains and the toys.
Oh, fantastic.
Tell her I would drop everything should she fancy some fun. Forget all the rest, as they are second best, and once you go black, you will not go back. Lots of lug and hugs. Heather, do you remember?
Yes, I do, actually.
So she's back in touch.
Right.
Time for a break now.
Ebony and ivory. Ooh. Actually, I might have to get home while that's fresh in my mind. Let's do one of these, please. I'll think about cricket for a minute or two.
Don't miss Ricky, the American Dream. After 39 victories on British soil, Ricky the Hitman Hatton moves up a weight to make his US debut, fighting Luis Colazzo for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. Also live from Sheffield, Clinton Woods versus Jason Delisle for the IBF Light Heavyweight title. Share the dream live and exclusive on Sky Box Office tomorrow from 10 p.m. To order, Sky customers see channel 755. Cable customers contact your operator.
From this week, please do not be alarmed if your computer makes the following sound.
You're gonna be okay, do you understand me? But you have to sit absolutely still.
If you missed the start of the new series of Lost, it's now available to watch online at channel4.com/Lost and on demand through NTL, Telewest and Home Choice. If it continues to make a strange noise after playing Lost, your computer's rubbish.
You've got 30 seconds to get out of the house. Not too tricky. But what if it's the middle of the night and you're all fast asleep and the house is on fire? When you've got 30 seconds to get out of the house, you'd better make sure you've planned your escape. There are simple steps you can take so you all get out alive. Find out what they are by visiting manchesterfire.gov.uk. Do it now, while you still have time. A message from the Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service.
The James H. Reeve phone-in on Key 103.
It's Raquel time.
Call now on 0161 288 0103.
Funnily enough, I've not actually, we're a bit late tonight, aren't we, with this one? Neil in Warrington. Should we talk to Neil?
Yeah.
Come on, give me some directions. Come on, you're supposed to be stepping back and looking at this objectively. Because I'm too close to it. I'm too close.
What are you talking about? Just talk to him.
Oh, right.
Hello, James.
Hello, Neil.
Oh, it's nice to speak to you, sir. Alright, first time call, I'm afraid, so a bit nervous.
First time call, a freaking listener. Don't be nervous.
Yeah, well, I have to think about something else as well for Jackie Reed in that house. Not cricket, because I'm firmly in Jeremy Clarkson's camp there about cricket. But never mind, I know how much you love the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. I can't really follow Sylvia or Sandra. I know it's a bit boring, but yeah, vegetarianism and animal rights. I don't know. To be honest with you,
when you say you can't follow them, you mean you?
I can't be as funny, to be honest.
Oh, right.
I feel as though I'm putting a bit of a downer on your show now.
No, I thought you meant you couldn't understand them.
Oh no.
Because I was going to say,
but yeah. No, I mean I've been vegetarian for about 15 years now. But I get the feeling you think people do that to seek attention, and to be honest with you, it's the last thing I want with it. It's quite a private thing. But it always comes up, wherever you go to a restaurant with a new group of friends or something, and you don't order any meat, and, they find out you're vegetarian, especially if it's blokes, and it's, oh God, and suddenly their opinion changes of you, which I find quite unnerving, because you seem to think you're some kind of hippie or nutcase, which is quite the opposite.
Oh, yeah, or a bit dubious,
Well, I've been sitting there talking about cars, other than football, women, and then all of a sudden you find out I've got a slightly different diet to them, and it's, what the hell's going on with him?
Yeah.
He's unorthodox, which I find quite odd. Maybe because I don't really think of, because it's been 15 years, I don't think twice about it. But I certainly don't push it on people, I don't sit there going on about it, why are you eating that, do you realise what the animal went through or anything? Maybe when, I was a kid, about 12 or something, like you do when you're a kid, you go on a bit. But no, so I don't think we're all quite as crazy as you think.
No, I mean, vegetarianism. I'm predominantly vegetarian. If I go to a do where there's a dinner or something where there's one meal,
yeah,
I don't bother ordering the vegetarian alternative. But if it's up to me, I can't remember the last time, apart from bloody bacon sandwiches.
Yeah, everyone says that. They always say to me, well, what about the bacon at Christmas? Oh, you don't know what you're missing out on, turkey, all this kind of thing. And I just shrug my shoulders and say, well, I don't even think about it until you bring it up, to be honest.
But I won't actually, I would never buy meat. I'd never buy a joint. I'd never say, oh, let's have some chops in. I'd probably, I don't think I'd prepare food with meat in it unless I'm microwaving something because...
Well, this is fair enough, James,
Right.
but what gets on my nerves is the people who say, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'm practically vegetarian, I just eat this, I just eat that, and then by the time they list it all up, well, they're practically as bad as my mum and dad who...
But Neil, when you...
sound like a hyena.
Yeah.
When you, because I was vegetarian for about 13 years, and I thought it got to the point where I was being a bit hypocritical, because say you have a pack of sweets or a bag of crisps or something...
Yeah, you've got to watch out there.
And you check in for gelatine and
You mean you've got to watch out?
Well, you've got to watch out. There's all sorts of hidden
otherwise-
things in products, isn't there? Even wine I've found out, apparently. So...
Oh,
that has beef fat sprinkled in it
Exactly.
to sort out... Well, so what? That's right.
Yeah, but as a vegetarian, you can't say I'm against eating meat because of the way animals are treated, blah, 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 and then eat a packet of whatever, which has animal fat
No,
in
I'll tell you what, it's the cretins who find out you've eaten something and they find out there's gelatine in it and they make a big deal out of it. But, I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm sure I've slipped up over the past few years every now and again.
Well, people used to say to me,
whoa, Jim slipped up.
But
What's going on here?
Exactly. I'm not saying I've ordered a plate of beef, but, you know...
You don't realise.
There's packets of things like sweets and God knows what that have things in, like gelatine.
Yeah. But people used to say to me...
Well, so what? I may have eaten them.
You're vegetarian.
Well, that's the way
I
the
put my
map
hand up and
flops.
say, well, yeah, I got it wrong, but it's these people who make such joy out of it. Oh, look, it's not perfect.
Does anyone say to you, do you wear leather shoes?
Well, there's no choice there is. I mean, you can point me in the direction of where I can get them.
That's what I used to get, yeah. In the end, it was spare ribs for me at the local Chinese.
Yeah.
No substitute for shoes.
No, not.
No, it's things like recently I got involved in a lock-in in a pub, which was great. Guinness slow until about 3 in the morning. I was with a few friends who run traction engines, helping them out there. And then a lady comes out with curry, and she's there offering it round, and I had to say no, and I feel rude sometimes. Everyone's tucking in. She goes, well, what's wrong with it? Prepared it all for you. We really shouldn't be doing this. I said, well, I can't. I'm vegetarian. So she gives me a black look. And then the next day she's giving everyone bacon sandwiches, and I said, no, sorry, I can't have those. And there's times like that I do feel like people think I'm just being awkward. You know what I mean?
Also, like you were saying, James, when you go to a do, and they... I
And
don't
you're
know if
sitting
you've
there
ever
waiting
had
for
milk.
them.
You
Are
sit
you
there waiting,
vegetarian?
yeah. And then you say, actually, I'm vegetarian. And you go, oh, sorry. And then they go off for 5 minutes and come back, and then everyone's looking at you.
There's a veggie over there, and we've got one over there, you know, I think.
Yeah, everyone's waiting for you to...
Well,
I'm really sorry.
I want to get one thing straight here.
Go on.
The reason I have lapsed into that thing, into the omnivore that I am.
Yeah.
And I think you'll agree, human beings are designed to be omnivores.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with eating meat. It was the way the animals were slaughtered. That's what made...
Excuse me.
Go on.
Excuse me. My name on the jingle. Do you want me to play it again?
Dear.
Do you want me to play it again?
What, the burp one?
I can do this.
You can do.
Yeah. Well, with a bit of help with the technical side of things.
You can't actually play
No,
it.
in actual fact, I can't. No, I wouldn't know where the hell. I wouldn't know where to start. But the point is, it's my name.
You're nothing about me.
It's my name out of the 10 o'clock news. That's what matters. So shut your face. Anyway.
You're right.
Right.
Sorry, it's the first time it's wrong.
Will you be quiet? I've got demons speaking to me from Newton Heath.
You created a monster there.
Me?
She married one. Look, it depends why you arrive at your state of dietary orientation. Okay. In my case, it was because from being a kid, I was never, for some reason, I was never struck on meat. Apart from like white chicken, and that was about it. Or things which didn't appear to be meat, like sausages. Because they're just like an amorphous thing, aren't they, right? It wasn't a philosophical decision, it wasn't a conscious decision, it wasn't a health decision, that was just the way things worked out. And I found...
You're not a vegetarian then?
I found, I'm going to tell you now what I found.
Go on, not too kind.
That I arrived at this state of equilibrium, where I'll eat stuff if it's put in front of me, but from choice, I won't. Because it's too much mither, it's cheaper not to buy meat, you end up throwing it away, and there's also somewhere in there is a certain percentage of thinking, well, I'm probably not contributing to some animals' discomfort.
Yeah, well, I mean, I must admit, I'm firmly with you when it comes to religion. I mean, I've no real deep beliefs there, and simply because of the fact that you find a problem with factual parts of it, don't you?
Yeah, but I mean, don't bring out. Let's stick to the subject.
No, what I'm saying is that if people really believe in religion, this is something I really believe in, sort of, passionately. So.
Well, in that case, if you're going to introduce the religious aspects, I will therefore give you this, and it's a saying which is normally applied to religion, but I will apply it to vegetarianism in this case.
Go on.
Right. A well-known saying is, most atheists are atheists out of convenience rather than conviction.
Right.
Now, before we go into the theological implications of that remark, I would say that applies to me. I am mostly vegetarian by convenience rather than conviction. Yeah. Now,
I don't think it's convenience to be
Shut your Keiko!
Give her a chance.
It's not convenient to be a vegetarian,
if I chance to eat a wine gum and then read on the packet afterwards contains bull's testicles, I'm not going to say, oh God, I have oh
yeah,
no!
You just move
I
on.
have
You don't do it again, do you? You don't make a big song and dance about it like a baby.
But you've just said you do it out of just, passing, whereas Neil is more of a, correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, more of a active vegetarianism.
Yeah, but what I can't understand is, if you discover that you've eaten something that you ought not to have been according to your own philosophy, is that because you've let the side down, or you've betrayed something, or you regret the consequences, or what?
We'll be on like a 4-hour drive somewhere, and someone will pass me a bag of sweets, and I'll be ravenous or something and hungry, and eat it. And then I'll look at the packet and think, oh no, look what's in that. That's all it'll be, just like not paying attention.
Yes, I know that's what happens. But why is it? What is it that causes you the problem? Is it
what causes me the problem?
Yeah,
what's the point of doing one thing and not doing it? If you're going to do something, you do it properly. So I mean, the piece of bacon in front of you is just the same as the gelatin. Well, you don't have to. What's the point of doing something if you don't do it thoroughly and properly? It's like you doing this show, all your research you do. You do it all properly and thoroughly, don't you?
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you think so. Yeah, I'd appreciate that in writing if it's all possible.
Yeah.
In fact, could you email that view to the programme director?
We have a problem.
First thing in the morning. I can't remember what we were talking about now. Get off. There we are. Hope you enjoyed your brief stay on the programme. That's the way to do it. Another satisfied customer, 12 minutes to 1.
Key 103's Toolin in the Morning, giving away the biggest prizes.
We're about to find out who's flying to the USA with Continental Airlines. We asked you a few minutes ago, to the nearest million, how many international visitors visited New York during 2004? The correct answer is 6 million, which means that the winner is Kimberly. From the foreign exchange, you're going off to New York.
Work your way to the USA final with Continental Airlines, now flying to New York twice a day and Manchester's Key 103.
Don't miss Ricky the American Dream. After 39 victories on British soil, Ricky the Hitman Hatton moves up a weight to make his US debut, fighting Luis Colazzo for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. Also live from Sheffield, Clinton Woods versus Jason Delisle for the IBF Light Heavyweight title. Share the dream live and exclusive on Sky Box Office tomorrow from 10 p.m. To order, Sky customers see channel 755. Cable customers contact your operator.
100 pounds. Credit for your own mobile phone and a free Sony Ericsson W800i. When you join one of our new pay monthly packages during the month of May, exclusively in your local foreign shop.
Sounds good when things come together, doesn't it? So for £100 credit for your old phone and a free Sony Ericsson W800i, visit your local Orange shop this weekend. Offer subject to availability and ends 31st of May 2006. Minimum spend £25 a month on a 12-month contract. Terms apply.
From this week, please do not be alarmed if your computer makes the following sound.
You're gonna be okay, do you understand me? But you have to sit absolutely still.
If you missed the start of the new series of Lost, it's now available to watch online at channel4.com/Lost and on demand through NTL, Telewest and Home Choice. If it continues to make a strange noise after playing Lost, your computer's rubbish.
The James H. Reeve phone in on Key 103. Call now on 0161 288 0103.
We can if you want. We've only got 10 minutes or so to go. Eugene Kabolikov, says, what's the point in vegetarians? They're pointless, like a blunt knife. I don't know whether that's supposed to be a joke, but it's rubbish if it is. Just because they don't eat meat doesn't mean animals don't still get killed. Well, no, of course, no. No, that's perfectly true. But it depends why. Because you can't be bothered, or because you don't think it's healthy, or you're talking about vegetarians who do it out of a matter of principle. And you are wasting your time, yeah. If you're doing it for that reason, it's you, and I think most Hindus, and a few sad gits, really, against the rest of the world, and they're slaughtering animals by there's probably 100,000 animals having their brains blown out while we're speaking. That's the way the mop flops, I'm afraid. Yeah, but if you want to be one because you think it's probably healthier to eat less meat, and the rest of them can, I mean, they've got to keep on eating meat, or we won't have any shoes, or a new sweet, for example, or a jumper. And that, you know. On the other hand, Don Brennan has texted in and says, James, I bet your assistant likes a bit of meat and enjoys a portion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course.
I love meat, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she's behaving like Edward Scissorhands. Yeah.
I cut Dorothy off by
Yes, I expressed a moment's confusion as to what was happening on the technical side of things, and she said, "Oh God, here, let me." Oh hell, what have I done? That's broadly speaking, that's more or less.
Yeah, that was edited. That.
Yeah. Dorothy in Oldham.
Yeah, I was thinking of ringing you back on Sunday.
Well, why don't you? Hey, I mean, despite our best efforts, listen, you're generating a lot of interest because, probably without realising it, you have invented the Dorothy competition.
Yeah, well, I've got one for Tuesday.
There's an email here, Dorothy, from Nikki, says, can I ask what's happened to the Key 103 competition? We got the answer to Dorothy's mystery actor, Anthony Quinn, which is wrong, a while ago, but you haven't given us a new one. What's happening?
Well, I'll have to, I've got something for Monday.
It's good. We'll have a jingle made, said, what can't Dorothy remember now?
I can't remember. This is the right one. I'll give you one on Monday. I really can't remember the name of the film or anything. But I do know one of the names of the people in it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do. And by the way, Dory Bryan was in that film the other night with Rita Tushingham. Nobody mentioned her.
What? What?
Dory Bryan was in that film as well, Taste of Honey, as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
But that's just by the by.
Oh, by the way, Dorothy, can I just so because we've got to get what we call in the trade, we've got to get the mechanic right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this competition, it can't, it's like, what, Dorothy?
It's a mental blockage, it's not a competition, it's a mental blockage.
Okay.
My mental blockage.
We try to help people with their blockages here.
That's what I've got, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's so many things to talk about, like John Prescott and chipolata sausages and all sorts of things, and Treasure Island, this country being the Treasure Island now, all sorts of strange things, vegetarianism and Geminians, I'm one, Jackie's one, there's so many things,
Oh, it's all in there, isn't it?
In 1977, I met... Yeah, breakfast television on Piccadilly Radio. There was so many things to speak about. It's too late now.
Yes.
We've got a few minutes.
Well, I can ring you back on about the film star thing. It's a real puzzler for me,
Okay, but what we like to do, you see, this intrigues people when Dorothy comes on and says, do you know, and then sets...
You're winding me up, yeah.
No, I'm telling, we're having, honestly, when we do anything here, we have to, when we incur any what you call production costs, it all has to be invoiced internally, doesn't it? Right. So we're getting someone to do that. Our composer will be working over the weekend, and then they'll take it into the electronic workshop where they wrote the theme music for Doctor Who, and it'll be something along the lines of, "What can't Dorothy remember?" Like that, you see. But it's got to, obviously, it's got to be something like, it can't be like, "Where did I leave my purse?"
No.
Because we can't really help you with that one, you know what I mean?
I've had a right coughing bout tonight, so maybe I'm not really up to all this. Anyway, I don't know what to say now. You were there in 1977 in February anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was here.
Yeah, no, on the breakfast programme.
1977?
Yeah. February.
Can't see
I
that.
remember it well.
Can't see that.
Well, somebody
familiar.
said it, I think somebody said it was James H., but I tried to track you down years after because I couldn't remember who you were.
No, I couldn't.
Easily forgotten.
Yeah.
But somebody said, I think it might have been James H., you know. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dorothy, is there a point to this?
Well, there was a lot of points. Like I say, it's too late now. It's time to go home.
Yeah, yes, it is.
So
Brilliant.
Back again.
And we won't be back till Sunday night.
Oh, you Sunday.
Hurrah! Dorothy?
I'll ring you back on Sunday.
Okay, then. Have a nice...
That's all right with you, Mr. Jingle.
Have a nice... Have a nice... Oh, get off. Have a nice weekend and what have you. Has she got a husband who turns into, like, a monster thing?
John? He shouts in the background, yeah.
Right, it's nearly... the time has nearly come for us to go. We'll be back on...
Sunday.
Is that it, or is that me change?
That's it.
Right.
What do you wish?
Back on Sunday night with a largely brand new show, although it will be remarkably similar to this evening.
Recycled.
In many respects.
Which is environmentally friendly.
Huh?
It'll be recycled.
Oh, of course it was, yeah.
Which is environmentally friendly.
Friends of the idea. Yeah, we never use one only once. You might have spotted that. Dr. Babs says, good evening, Mr. Reeve. I have to confess, I would never have imagined you to be a vegetarian. More of a vegetarian. Thank you. That's probably a George Bush gag. Oh, there's some... Hellfire! Is that all there is?
Yeah.
Right. Listen, yeah, I'm chucking it now. We'll be back on Sunday night. Obviously, as you well know, you've got an hour of non-stop music coming up after the 1 o'clock news. And then you've got Sam Walker with you from 2 o'clock until 6 a.m. And then Tool in the morning. And I understand Robbie Williams is saying hi.
Oh, yeah.
Live at 8 a.m. You didn't think I'd remember that for one moment,
honestly,
did you?
I didn't know.
Anyway, that all begins to happen after this.
Don't miss